is what I do. I just like stare at it and wait for somebody to come in and start chatting.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. And then when I did my test and Chipper popped up, I was like, that's cool.
Oh, no, you're in here? It's there's a loop. Wow, hey, Mel Dog. For the gold.
Hey, Mel Dog.
Yeah. Mrs. West is in here. About it so far. We got to give everybody. It takes everybody like I don't know. It's usually about 10 minutes before everybody gets in here. So, for those of you who watch it on the replay, this is Wes Ass, and joining me tonight are Westwind Survival and Just Aid. We are going to be talking about tinfoil hat conspiracy type theory things. You know, is this true? Is there any basis for it? Whatever. We're basically going to try to make fools of ourselves on a live stream, and y'all are here to watch. So, anyway, Just Aid, say hello. Adrian.
Yeah, I hit the mute. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, your turn. Say hello.
Evening, everyone. I'd also like to say hi to our sponsors, the CIA and the NSA.
Yeah, exactly.
Without them, this wouldn't be possible.
And the United States Postal Service, who obviously need to rework their sniffers. So, yeah. Talk about that stuff. But they're supposedly sending pipe bombs through the mail, and I was terrified to send camp fuel. Come on. That's, give me a break. We'll save that one for last because we don't want to get into the really good stuff. I know we had talked a little bit about the flat Earth or round Earth, and we apparently, my brother from England here and I are on the same page about that one, but we'll get into that a little bit more. One of my personal all-time favorite weird tinfoil hat things is the Loch Ness Monster. And I was kind of trying to do some research on deep lake life via YouTube today. And, they're like, even in Russia, they have a way cooler deep lake life conspiracy theory than we do. In Russia, they believe in...
Hi, guys.
Oh, what happened? Anyway, they believe in 9-foot tall lake dwellers, which is cool. Like people that live in the bottoms of the deep lakes and stuff.
Oh, like swamp people.
No. Oh. Hey. Just Aid's moving. Hey, look, if he'll talk, we can watch him go through England. We can watch Great Britain live. And in news tonight, in Great Britain, there was a massive pileup on a live stream on YouTube. Somebody running their head.
Right, sorry, just put me mute on. I actually want to introduce you to my best friend. Say hi, best friend. Hello. He's my best friend. He's from Vegas, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Vegas, America?
Yeah, Vegas, Nevada. Yes, my best friend's from Nevada, Vegas, yeah. So yeah, I actually quite like Americans, by the way.
That's because Americans are super cool.
Well, the ones I've met on here are anyway.
All the Brits I've met are pretty cool too. So.
But that, honestly, even the one that I can't stand, he's actually pretty cool. It's he's a little full of himself. Phil a little full of himself. But he's, honestly, he's got reason to be. He's actually really good at what he does. So, no, are y'all in a car?
Yeah, I'm in a BMW Mini.
BMW Mini?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one.
Right. The old Mini from the Italian job. Well, BMW bought the patents, and they've actually produced their own version.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And we'll
So
never.
you can find it on the internet. Yeah, and they're brilliant, mate.
Hey, dude, y'all on the wrong side of the road. What is wrong with you people? If I tried that over here, I'd get pulled over for going the wrong way.
Yeah. When I watched Digger's first driving video, and the car came around the corner, and I actually thought the car was going to hit me. And my brain realised it's on the other side of the road.
I think, what is it? The Americas are we're the only continent that drives on our side of the road. Everybody else drives on the wrong side. No,
Europe drives on the same side as you.
I know the French do. It's different in different places. If I remember right, Croatia drives on the right side too.
So when you cross the border, they've got like little switchovers or what?
No, the whole of Europe's same as you.
So how come whenever I see them driving in Italy, they're driving like on the? I'm watching the wrong movies. Ain't it? Those aren't real. I feel strangely ripped off now. Wait, I gotta say hello to everybody while you're driving around. We got. I said hey to Mel Dog and Mrs. and I miss Daniel completely. Daniel God is my judge. Daniel Horn.
Hi, Daniel.
Sid's dad. Kentucky Survival. Walter Davis. Hey, Walter. Charger Man. Hey, that went real fast. The Real Love Festival Survival from London. Hey, look, he's over there. Hey, swing by and shake his hand or something. Because y'all are on like an island, right? So it can't be that big.
I live on a mountain surrounded by water.
Yeah, they call it an island, but which side of the island or of England is it that's got those big white cliffs or whatever?
Oh, that's the bit near France. That's Dover. That's the opposite end of the country to where I am.
I don't know. I've always wanted to go there and throw a paper airplane off. I don't know why. I just think it would be cool to actually see how far it made it. It would probably just like blow back in my face. But, anyways, do we have any requests from the chat out here about our? Well, yeah, there's that. But for a favorite conspiracy theory.
Freemasonry.
Uncle Al.
Oh, geez, not the freak, man. I went off on a tangent locally about those guys, and man, I had to leave town. That's not a theory. I don't even want to go there.
I think it's just a big boys club. That's all it is.
It is, but they're a big boys club with a lot of power.
Oh,
not like they say on TV or whatever. But trust me, if you get sideways from those old boys, you're done in that town. The end. I mean,
yeah, you ain't getting a job, are you?
No. harrowing harp in storms. Hey, Trezel. Earthquakes and some non-heat. Okay, so you're saying man-made weather, Kentucky. Does any of the panel have anything to say about man-made weather? Or man-made natural disasters? That's how you have to word it. Man-made natural disasters.
Well,
Are they manufacturing hurricanes?
I can tell you for a fact the contrail stuff is trash.
It's not, they're not really poisoning the atmosphere. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've worked on just about every air base in this country, and I know a lot of people in aviation, and I would have worked with or installed that stuff myself if that was the case.
Okay. That's and the whole thing with them dumping fuel before they land. Did they do that?
Yeah, such a waste.
Yeah, they have to do that for weight and balance sometimes.
Sometimes, but not all the time. I've been, what's the right word for it? I've been, I guess, downwind of Lubbock International Airport, and every once in a while you get a fuel smell. But I think that's when they're having to, when something's going on. But I mean, you're not going to dump an airplane's fuel tanks and stuff unless you have to, because, well, yeah, like that's expensive. The only time they dump the fuel on a landing is if there's something wrong with the landing. So, that's
it has a lot to do with the weather conditions and how heavy the aircraft is.
What a lot of people don't realize, I mean, they have to do it a little bit more when it's cooler, I guess, because on cloudy days or something, but then you wouldn't notice it. The chemtrails are basically, if you can go to the airport, or here there's actually a park, you can watch them do the touch and goes at Dias, which is silly, but it's there. And every time one of those planes comes in and changes direction or whatever, they rip a hole in the atmosphere on the wingtips every time. And they literally, when they come down, they generate 2 visible tornadoes off the end of the wingtips that, on ground level, they dissipate real quick. But when they go back up, you don't see them. It's not. It's condensation and yada 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 yada. I don't buy the chemtrail thing either.
Is MK Ultra even a theory anymore? I mean, all that stuff's been unclassified, and they were doing that.
MK Ultra. Direct energy weapons, actually, they've been working on those since World War I or II. So I don't know if they've actually got them. They don't have any of that. I don't think they can carry any around in their pocket or anything.
They've been. I think that they got some stuff from Tesla when he died. And they've been trying to piece his work together.
Yeah, I mean,
they stripped him flat out, and then they gave some stuff back to the family. Yeah.
The Tesla was way ahead of his time. I don't know. That's a conspiracy theory all into itself. Where was this guy coming up with all of this? I mean, it was like he was reaching into the future and jerking out blueprints. And he didn't have to write anything down because he was able to track it all in his head. And once he dreamed something, he had how'd they say it? He had a photographic memory of his dreams. He could, after he dreamed something, he could literally wake up the next day and build it.
The way they described it was if he dreamed it or saw something, it was like a 3D image. Like if you went into AutoCAD, you could completely spin it around and do whatever with it.
Yep. And I mean, that's not.
We already got to find him.
Right.
That was going to open my side.
All right. Careful that. Oh, careful that. I'm okay. What's your place, Ron?
But the contrail stuff, that being aviation and working around that and working with other people and other mechanics in aviation, I would have either been a part of it, seen or known someone who was a part of that. And I think that whole theory is it's I it's just total BS. When the airplane flies around, it generates static electricity in the air, and the wings and the leading edge, they get hotter than the air around it. So as the air particles and the molecules and everything are going, as it's flying through the air, because of the heat and the static electricity on the wings and the trailing edge and the wingtips, it hits that, and the moisture molecules in the air are basically split, and they travel around the wings and the wingtips, and then they meet up at the end, and it creates like a cloud, and it creates that moisture, that vapor barrier that you see when they fly.
Daniel's leaving already? Well, that's not cool. And yeah, that's people don't want to hear that part. I don't know how to explain it. Because, I've been watching chemtrail since I was what they call chemtrail since I was 8 or 9, because that's when I noticed them. They're vapor trails. That's all they are. Yeah, there's more of them. And I don't know that there's not something changed in the atmosphere, because there's actually cloud formations that in my lifetime, the meteorologist has said, we've never seen these before. Okay. We don't know what's causing them. The old dragon scale looking clouds that you see every once in a while, that's not a cloud formation. They know what is. They're not supposed to form clouds like that. The clouds that actually, the underside of the cloud looks like white caps, those are new. There's new phenomenon in the atmosphere, but I don't think it's caused by people spraying stuff out of the backside of airplanes. That's crazy.
So it'd be a fun discussion to have with the weather operator, because she knows all about that stuff.
I mean, you can ask her about those cloud things or whatever. It wasn't. I've got pictures of it. Somewhere I've got a video of I was looking at the sky and I was like, wow, that's like the ocean. Why can't I see the ocean? I'm in the middle of Texas. And it was literally looked like huge white caps rolling across, and not like upside down, but like the bottom of the clouds actually, you could see the waves coming up and crashing, coming up and crashing, coming up and crashing in the bottom of the clouds. I mean, that's not something that happens atmospherically on the bottom of a thunderstorm. It's not supposed to work that way.
Yeah, usually they're flat on the bottom, puffy on top.
Yeah. And I've seen that. I've seen that particular phenomenon 3 times. All 3 times it's been in the springtime. No, 2 times in the springtime. 1 time it was in the fall. What do you call it? The ones that look like dragon scales, where it's like the whole sky will be cloudy, and then boom, there'll just be a section that looks like little, not necessarily dragon scales but fish scales or whatever, just little diamonds. Just ding, 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 ding. A bunch of white lines surrounding gray clouds. And then those are really high. They're way, way high in the sky. I don't know what those are. And the deal with where you look up and you can see a rainbow in the middle of a summer day when it hasn't rained in forever, and between the high wispy clouds, and then it actually hurts your eyes to look at this thing. I mean, it's actually bright. the little rainbow looking things. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Liz? The big colorfully bright spots you see in the clouds sometimes in the summertime.
Yeah.
I think that's supposed to be formed by ice crystals, the sun coming through ice crystals or whatever.
Well, yeah, you got different temperatures at different elevations where the clouds are at, and you also have different wind movements, and they literally have different weather at different elevations.
Yeah, and something I need to mention is that I am actually a firm believer in climate change. I just don't believe it's man-made.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think we're being complete idiots, and I think that we're not helping matters any. Well,
No.
let's see, man-made ecosystem change. Is there anybody around here that can tell us where a desert became more of a desert because of mankind?
In the Southwest, because of damming the Colorado River, in the lower Colorado River, the area where we're at in Arizona used to actually be lush and grow vegetation and be really good farmland, and now it's just dried up desert.
That would be man-made. I mean, that's man-made right there. See, I believe in, and I think that because I've done the CO2 thing or whatever. If you take a jar, an old pickle jar, and or you can go buy new jars, whatever you want to do. Fill them, put a thermometer in them, and put a lid on one with just regular air, and then on the next one, put a little CO2 in there. You'll spray CO2 across the top of it or into it or whatever, and then put the lid on it while it's mostly CO2, and then set them side by side. The jar with the CO2 in it will pop the top. Well, it maxes out the thermometer, and it does it relatively quickly. So, hello, person whose name I don't see.
Yan Baptist, Tim Grimes came in.
Tim Grimes, or Yan Baptist, and Theodore.
And Chipper came in.
And Chipper. Hello, all you people that I missed. But seriously, we are burning more fuel now than ever in the history of the world, I think. And that's a lot of CO2. The CO2 raises temperatures. So to say that nothing man is doing is affecting the weather would be asinine. We'll get to the aliens is on our list of things to discuss. But what do you think about the weather? What do you call it? Climate change. We'll call it global climate change. True, false?
Let Justin go first.
Oh, sorry, man. I'm at home now, so I was getting changed. So, what was the question again?
The man-made global climate change, or is it?
Yeah, I think we're doing it, but I think the world does it to itself as well. Both, definitely both. Yeah,
but
we're not helping.
You do believe in climate change, right?
Yeah. Whether it's us or nature.
All right, Wayne, what do you think?
I think it's part of the natural cycle of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It gets colder, and it gets cooler, and it gets colder, and it gets cooler. If you go back, like 8,000 years ago, when the Earth was still cold and the sea levels were lower, I think this has been a cycle. I think ancient civilizations had technology just like we do, but it was a different type, and that's why we don't understand it. And they were probably doing the same thing to themselves as well. And
God,
sea
yeah.
levels were lower. That's why they've been finding all these civilizations miles off the coast, because at that time they were actually living on the coast.
The Young
And
Dryas period.
we're kind of on the same path.
So all the coastal stuff's going to fly. I don't know, man. What do you call it? The heat expansion coefficient and all that stuff on how high the water is actually going to get and yada, yada, yada. I mean, I think there's basis in some of it because there's no other reason to build wind energy than to try to get away from fossil fuel energy production. Because I'm sorry, you can make more electricity faster and cheaper with fuel, with natural gas, methane gas, which they have an overabundance of.
Mm-hmm. We can make it.
Wind. The amount of money it costs to keep windmills running and making electricity is insane. I mean, it's millions of dollars per windmill just to put one up. So, that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, but how much do power stations cost? You know, they'll pay for themselves eventually.
Not in our lifetimes, and I'm talking the windmills.
Probably
a windmill
not.
will not pay for itself before that windmill has to be replaced. The economics are not there.
Right.
Not for large power generation.
Now the small scale stuff, yeah, you can get. If you're not trying to sell energy back to the power company or whatever, but if you're just trying to generate enough electricity into your world so that you're not as dependent on the grid, they can pay for themselves. Solar will eventually pay for itself if you don't have a thunderstorm come through and wipe out your entire control board or whatever. But the windmills they depend on mechanical parts. Seals, bearings, bushings. The seals, bearing, bushings wear out. I'm in the middle of windmill country now.
Oh, and they're fixing it. Got 2 test sites out there.
Yeah. And they literally, one of the biggest stack lots for the windmills two of the biggest stack lots for the windmills in this area is nothing but gearboxes that are shredded already.
Well, when you drive by them, there's just petroleum down the sides of
Yeah,
them.
and every one of them are leaking. The ones that they put up 2 years ago, they're all leaking like crazy. They're all going to have to be taken down and have new gearboxes, but they can't get the gearboxes built fast enough. Go ahead.
Well, it's because they're constantly turning. The parts are constantly wearing into each other. Maintenance, I mean, they're not really maintenance friendly. You gotta stick one guy. How long does it take one guy to climb and then go lubricate and repair each one? It's a bad design all around.
Yeah, I watched a guy he was actually putting oil in one. Because they only have one guy on most of these places. There's not like a crew that stays out there because they have to cut costs somewhere. So yeah, let's not hire enough guys to do this. Climb to the top, open the little access deal, drop a rope down, a really long rope, go back down, hook the hose or the rope to the hose, climb back up, pull the hose up there, put it in where you got to put the oil, and I'm not making this up, and then turn the pump on and pump the gearbox full of oil. Because there's no way to get the oil up there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, and it's usually the seals in the front bearings or whatever that are going out in them, and that's where they start leaking. That's why it's always, you know, and the wind is always coming to the front of the windmill. So as the oil's leaking and running down the blade's slinging it to the back, so it just paints the entire the whole base. If you look out there and you'll see a bunch of white windmills, and then you'll see a gray one or a brown one or black one. Some of them are pretty nasty. And you're like, yeah, that one's got a leak.
Think they don't get hot enough for the seals to set? They just stay cold and stay shrunk down?
Probably. And you got to see when one of them has an emergency shutdown, boy. Them things, I mean, they rock and roll and shake. I'm
surprised the big rotors, or for lack of terminology or whatever they are, surprised they don't snap off if they have to shut down real quick.
They're actually pretty light, and they're super flexible. And well, that's the deal. I mean, how many times can you stop a 747 in 100 feet before the 747 breaks? You know, instead of the airplane landing and coming to a slow rolling stop at its own, you know, because of its own mass, you know, landing it down there like they do on the aircraft carrier, and, you know, catching a rope on the bottom of the airplane and just jerking it. I mean, that'd put all the passengers up in first class quick, boy.
Yeah. Well, you only get 10 tries before you have to inspect things for falling apart.
I mean, people don't realize, I mean, what's it, in civilian aircraft, I think, was it 50 hours of flight time? Everything's got to be inspected every 50 hours.
You have a turnaround, and that's good for 24 hours in the next flight. So if aircrew stays in the cockpit and another aircrew comes and swaps out while the engine's still running, you can do a turnaround, which is just a quick check oil levels, make sure the tires aren't falling off type of stuff. Then you have what's called a daily, and the daily is good for, depending on the aircraft, 48 to 72 hours. That's a full inspection where they walk around and check everything, and it has to get signed off by 3 people. And then you have a 14-day, which is basically lubrication of everything. And, you know, there's 14-day, there's 336 days, there's 168-day, 48-day. There's different hourly and daily inspections too. These things are constantly under inspection.
Just they got cut off. I'm going to re-invite him. But yeah, and is that in the military or?
That's FAA for all aircraft, including military.
Wow, they changed it a little bit. That's the commercial end of it, though, right?
Well, we follow the same rules. That most people don't realize that we follow the same rules that they do. And if I sign, if I inspect something wrong or sign it off, and there is an issue in flight or it goes down, I have to follow the same rules and the same courts and everything else, and I go to the same jail.
Yeah. See, when I was doing it, like the commercial aircraft was stricter, and basically it boiled down to but each individual part of an airplane has to be inspected every 50 hours of flight time. On light aircraft, you've got what's called an annual, and you've got the others, which is, I'm rusty at this, man. It's been a while, okay? It's been a long, long time. But I know it was like crazy. It's like all you're ever doing was inspecting the airplane to make sure it wasn't going to break. And you don't always find anything. As a matter of fact, you very seldom find anything. But sometimes you do.
Our daily inspections cover most of those. We do the 1,500-hour inspections, 200-hour inspections for specific parts, and then you have aircraft inspections. It's a 90-day, 168-day, 336-day. There's a 20-hour, 14-day, 48-day. There's always different daily inspections where we inspect. We pull all the panels off and look in the flight controls and check the wires and all that stuff. That's all we do really almost all the time is inspect them.
Something I've always wondered is if you actually have to replace, or none of the military aircraft, they're not running cables or anything, right? They're all hydraulic controls.
The older ones ran cables, and the newer ones are going towards the fly-by-wire. So you have all your physical rod inputs, and then it basically goes into a box that calculates all the stick throws and sends them via computer and wires to the actual flight controls.
Well, that sounds safe. That was sarcasm. At least, if there's something wrong with the cable, you can see it. Nothing like reaching your hand in a tiny hole, though, and putting your hand on a cable and running it down it to see if it's got any burrs on it, though. That's like the perfect thing.
I like the cables better. There's so much more troubleshooting that goes into these with the computer systems and everything now. It's like playing Windows 98 when you're checking stuff out.
I like Windows 98. Anyway, okay, we did well, sort of climate change. My standing on, I'm going to get back on topic real quick. My standing on global climate change is that it is natural. I mean, the ice records don't lie. It's a natural phenomenon. But I'm going to go with mankind has accelerated this one to a large degree.
I agree with that, Wes, totally.
I think we might have hurt the pooch a little bit. I mean, I think the pooch is dissatisfied with what we've done. I don't think it's too late. I don't know. But jumping something that's going on right now. How many people have seen anything on mass aquatic life die off in the Pacific Ocean?
Right, actually, several months ago, thousands and thousands of fish somewhere in a Tennessee river. They were just flowing out. I actually watched it on YouTube, and it was a local Tennessee news station. It was a few months ago, but I can't tell you much more about it than that.
Somebody pushed the wrong button at the paint factory.
I ain't got a clue. They were just filming tens of thousands. They were like mackerel size, and there were like tens of thousands of them just floating down this river in Tennessee somewhere.
Well, I wonder if that was anywhere close to where they had that thing go wrong at BA's little factory over there, which uses water from the river to cool itself. Remember a few years or a few months back, they had that explosion.
What was that, last November?
Something like
well,
that.
This news report I watched was a few months old.
So,
well, a few months ago, yeah.
But, and there's something, I've got you in here, Mr. West Wind Survival. So the last report I read was actually from, they actually stole the information from naval reports on the Pacific Ocean and the fact that there's a bunch of animals missing, like a bunch. Not like, okay, we had 20 fish, now we've only got 5. It's more like we had 20,000 fish and now we've only got 1. Mm. Have you heard anything about that? Any scuttlebutt about that?
When it comes to that kind of stuff, I got to be careful what I say. There was that mass die-off from what is it, Gold Beach, Oregon. I actually stayed down there where I filmed my video last spring. That was at Gold Beach. When we went down 101, but I guess they had a mass die-off down there, a whole bunch of fish, and they were checking the rads, and they were radiated with the actual radiation particle that gets its signature from Fukushima.
Yep, that's the one. And do not let me put you on the spot or whatever. You're too good a guy to get in trouble for YouTube for, so we can. But starfish. Starfish are dying off in Alaska, and I'm wondering if nuclear power has already doomed us to die. That's my thing now. And I'm sorry, we're not going to go into the book. We're not going Bible tonight. But biblically speaking, if they have a giant red algae bloom in the Pacific Ocean feeding off all the dead animals, that's kind of the ocean's turning red. I'm just saying. And that would mean we're past the seals and we're into the bowls already, which would bite. Y'all can't see it, but I'm playing with a knife, and you can't not send this knife to Canada.
Sounds like one of them Canadian assault knives.
Canadian assault gun. It's so stupid. I mean, my grandkid can go to the Walmart and buy one of these, but I can't sip it to Canada. Next thing you know, you're not going to be able to buy a piece of firewood up there because you could hit somebody with it.
Chupacabras are real.
Chupacabras are real. We see them all the time.
So that starfish thing up in Alaska, I saw that, but they were talking about Gold Beach when I was looking at that, and I didn't know it was affecting Alaska too.
It's kind of hard sometimes when you're digging around the internet to get stuff that's up to date or whatever. But this, the rads going over, atmospheric radiation is actually higher in the Midwest. Upper level radiation is actually higher in the Midwest than it is in California. That is coming from Japan. That stuff is still going up into the atmosphere, and they have a leak. How many of y'all realize they have a leak in the bottom of the thing where the fuel rods are burning up and they're having to change all this water and stuff? They pump water in to cool it off, and then they pump it out, but the water that's coming out and the water that's going in, it's not balancing.
They just put it in tanks and put it outside the plant.
Yeah. But they're losing water. The water is going somewhere while it's in there doing the cooling. So there's a big hole into the substrate inside the plant, and the water's they're actually afraid that they're contaminating the underground water supply.
What doesn't surprise me at all. I'm kind of curious where these rods are going if they keep burning up and going down.
That's it. They're melting the ground under them, and they're going somewhere. Well, the elephant foot in dadgummit Russian place. They were the first one to have a meltdown. Chernobyl. Thank you.
Some creepy documentaries on that.
Yeah.
It came out the side, and they were actually able to do something and stop the meltdown, I think, or control it or whatever. They still got that elephant's foot that just keeps globbing out and just irradiating everything. and CBS or CNN or somebody did this thing on it and made it sound like it was a perfect habitat for all the wildlife and everything like that, and yada yada yada. But then when you research, you come to find out that the birds, half the birds are being born where their face doesn't work, so they can't eat, so the babies die. The wolves aren't dying of old age; they're dying of cancer from old age. The deer aren't dying from old age; they're dying from cancer when they get older. There's no people there hunting the animals, so there's more animals, but they're all dying before their time because of the radiation.
Wait for him to finish the sentence.
They're not gonna be able to see you because I got it muted. Hold on, the Sweet Pea wants to show y'all her hair, I guess, which is like purple and black and orange and
There's not orange.
strawberry and stuff.
It's magenta, violet. I don't know the name of the blue color. Black and gray. And it's crazy right now. My crazy hair. So crazy. I'm gonna go straighten it and then show you guys again because it does really look crazy.
Yeah, eating bugs from Truck Grill.
I don't know. God, that'd be crazy. Eat bugs off a grill on his truck. That's just all I'm saying.
Yeah, you are crazy.
But yeah, we have nuclear power plants in the United States that need to go away. We need data on YouTube to build rockets, and we just need to take put dry ice on them or something, and then take the fuel cells and just launch some puppies towards the sun. Kind of like charge the battery on the sun. You know what I'm saying? Because all we'd have to do is get them close, right? And then the sun would go ahead and suck them in. So we need to get that crap off the planet.
CM's got a point about the military bases. We don't cause a lot of pollution, but we pollute ourselves because of what's in the ground. There's all kinds of stuff that comes back with the water on base and stuff that we all drink.
Yeah, I saw there's a guy out there that pushes it real hard on YouTube and on the internet that the military is deliberately destroying the Pacific Ocean or not deliberately, but negligently destroying the Atlantic and Pacific with sonar and depleted uranium bombs and blah, 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 blah. He's jumping on the bandwagon for the die-offs because he thinks he's finally getting right. The only thing is all the radiation signature is from a private endeavor gone horribly wrong. I mean, that's like, did they build nuclear power plants anywhere close to Los Angeles? How smart would that be?
That actually might be a good idea this day and age.
I
don't know about Los Angeles. Those guys are getting enough radiation from Fukushima down there in California now. So.
What scares me is if these people are anywhere close to true on the ocean dying, the Pacific Ocean dying, that literally will be, that will be the end of almost everybody on the planet.
We're screwed if that happens.
There's no dude. What do the oceans do? They maintain the what? The weather. They do the weather. They absorb carbon dioxide. That's where the rain comes from. I'm just saying. all the grizzly bears and stuff in Alaska salmon to get fat enough to sleep through the winter, right? The salmon depend on these little fishes. And these little fishes depend on these other little fishes and little bugs and stuff. These little bugs depend on these other littler fishes and littler bugs. And if you kill the bottom of the food chain, then actually the next one that goes, the big guy. So you start seeing sharks and, I don't know, killer whales and the plankton or the little filter feeders in the ocean that the whales eat, if they're irradiated, okay, and then the whale eats them, then the whale becomes irradiated, the whale dies. So yeah, I don't know. That one got me worried. Y'all hear anything about that over there in Great Britain, Just Dave? About the die-offs in the Pacific? Are they reporting it different over
there? At the moment, all our news is Brexit and the Arabian Prince assassination thing. That's pretty much what's taking up the news at the moment.
That's funny.
The prince, haven't you? Have they reported that in America? A prince chopped up some guy in Turkey.
That's not the story we're getting. We're getting a story about some guy getting hacked up in Turkey, but not by a prince.
No, the prince, from the guy who got chopped up, left his phone on, right? And the evidence on the phone heavily suggests that one of the royal princes from Saudi Arabia is heavily involved. But no, he wasn't there. But there's a lot of evidence, hard evidence, to say that it was him that ordered the hit.
What's funny about that is if that's the same prince that last winter killed off all the guys that were in line of the crown and all the political enemies, they didn't say anything about that over here.
Right. Yeah. I had a few here about. I don't really watch the news much because it's like just all crap anyway. It's all the same stuff. It's all Theresa May this, Theresa May that. It really is at the moment. Oh, and Strictly. Yeah, Strictly Come Dancing. That's all over the news as well.
I'm not buying the whole deal in Muslim countries. And I'm not saying this to bash them or anything like that. I'm just saying it is a fact that if you live in a Muslim country and one of the people, the princes or one of the ayatollahs or one of the religious leaders or your first cousin or whatever has a reason to prove that you've done something against Islam, they kill you. It happens hundreds of times every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's, getting chopped up over there is not that odd. Okay? It's part of life over there.
Yeah, if you get caught stealing something, you get your hand chopped off. It's common practice in a lot of Arab countries.
It's, I think that the reason they're doing the whole, the Saudi Arabia prince had it done and yada yada, we'll never find out what the reporter did. Obviously, he did something that he wasn't supposed to do, but that put aside, there's a deal in the works right now between industry in the United States and Saudi Arabia to put thousands and thousands of American people to work for an extended period of time.
$130 billion arms contract, I think it is.
If we shut that down, guess what? Russia and China will fulfill the contractual obligations. They will still get the firepower, but Russia and China will make the money.
Can't be having that.
It would be stupid. I mean, last time I checked, MiG fighter could still launch rockets just as good as something built by Boeing. So I don't think they care whether the tank's a Bradley or a whatever they got over there. I don't think they care. I think they want. Did Russia ever get their aircraft carrier from France?
Not a clue.
I mean, whatever happened? I mean, is it just like sitting there in the dock going, well, that's taking up valuable space? I mean, what do you do with it? They already paid for it.
I'm not worried about Russian carriers.
They're probably renting out as a hotel.
This is one of those go fast carriers, man. It was you didn't take off. It wasn't airplanes. It was helicopters.
Oh, it's a LHD.
What?
Basically a flat deck amphibious ship, similar to a carrier but smaller.
Yeah, but anyway, they could like carry bukus of helicopters and go and then go back and get some more gas and bombs. I want one because I think you could live in one of those. And you'd have your own helipad and like seriously big giant workshop, and like you could park your car in there and stuff. But
yeah, convert carrier like you would do a camper van.
How about the Navy? Seriously, the Navy can't take the North Atlantic, dude. What is that all about?
Can't do what?
The Navy ships can't take the North Atlantic?
Sometimes they break. We've been overextended for a number of years since, 2007, 2008. We haven't done a 6-month deployment rotation because all of our ships are designed and our whole system's designed to rotate in and out every 6 months to get fixed and refitted and have the maintenance done. And we've been extending, 8, 10, even up to a year on some of these deployments. And with the budget cuts during the last administration, it's really stretched our ships thin. So they're not getting repaired like they should.
Are you saying that the last administration might have been detrimental to the safety and security of these United States?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the maintenance wasn't getting done, and that is very public knowledge.
Yes. Okay. That's good. Because I don't want to have to call you a racist. Yeah. I'll say it. The last administration was a total wipe for the safety and security of this country. He was like, my Muslim brothers, I would like you to come take our country. Only he doesn't have a cool accent like that.
He's got a shiny new khaki suit, though.
Does he really?
That was the big headline today. Obama's got a khaki suit.
Oh, does he have like little medals and stuff on it? Little towel.
Like the dictator.
That's not fun. Maybe it's like khaki's bulletproof. Maybe, or what do you call it, bomb-proof? Maybe. Okay. Hey, Savage. New dad with baby with long hair already and stuff. How's the baby doing?
Hey, Savage.
Hi, Savage. How you doing? Probably not a lot of sleep, though, eh?
Did Mama Bear get to come home? Well, wait. Birdie. What did my text message say? Oh, I'm not actually supposed to watch other people's YouTube videos, am I? Probably. I should do that time.
We're saving that one for later absurd so we can all have a good laugh at the end.
Yeah, that's going to be the. Now, somebody wanted us to talk about aliens. Aliens and underground bunkers. Who wants to talk about aliens and underground bunkers?
Space aliens or illegal aliens?
Are they connected?
About aliens and underground tunnel or something.
We're going to go with space alien. Oh, okay, Nirabu is actually on the tags. So let's go with
Planet X.
space aliens from Nirabu and why the government is investing so much money in underground cities, which I firmly believe in. I have proof, but I'll let y'all go first. Y'all may take the field. You can argue between yourselves.
I'll let Justin go first.
No, you're going where you go first. I'll follow on, make a cup of tea.
So when it comes to aliens, I believe there are aliens just for the fact that I believe it's extremely arrogant to think that we're the only ones in the universe. As far as all the crazy alien conspiracies, there are so many of them. I don't know what the hell's true and what's not, honestly.
So, why would the government spend, or the government and other private entities be spending so much money digging out from underneath mountains? I mean, got any ideas on that one?
Well, we haven't. When it comes to that, I think that goes more into continuity of government. That's really what scares me more than anything is the whole continuity of government deal and the deal that was signed by Bush in his last presidency. We haven't updated we haven't hardened our security against intercontinental and nuclear ballistics and stuff like that. I think they're just trying to update all that stuff and re-harden our security.
Well, I think sorry, go on.
Not our security, but the security for the government officials. So.
Well, I think the governments have been building underground facilities for centuries, so it's probably kind of normal for them. There's underground bunkers in Portsmouth, Plymouth, and in the Quiet Cliffs of Dover, and they were for the Second World War. So I think governments have been active. And didn't they try and build a bunker in Greenland in the 50s or 60s or something? It didn't quite work.
They've got a bunker in Greenland. We've got a big one.
Who wants a new one?
That's the whole idea. I mean, that's going to be like the most habitable place on the planet in theory or whatever, as far as radiation fallout and this, that, and everything else.
It's going to be opposite day.
Yep. But every few months, a train goes by that delivers more granite, and they just dump the granite off the train onto the side of the railway. Just more and more and more and more and more. And then they have to come back and they have to replace the railroad tie. And I know they have to do maintenance on the railroads and this, that, and everything else. But, and I think China's doing it too, because you got all these ships going out. You cannot dredge sand up off the bottom of the ocean and stack it on top of more sand on the ocean and build an island. You have to have aggregate. Any engineer worth his salt, or I would think, would understand that sand doesn't stack. Okay? When you spray sand with water or pour water across sand, the sand disappears. Unless you have, the way you build a seawall, the way you build an island is by putting rock. So they're building islands in the ocean using ships with aggregate that they're pulling from somewhere. I honestly don't believe that they care whether or not the islands are there or not. They need somewhere to put all the rock they're digging out. We have the rail system. They want an island. Problem solved.
Skinny Panda said hey.
Hello, Skinny Panda. I know that's really tenfold, but this is one of my private, actually, I support this theory that they're building underground cities and they're doing it under mountains. It's because, again, it's biblical. And even those who had their hiding place in the mountains and under the mountains were praying that they should collapse on them and that they could die, but they will not be delivered with death or blah, 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 however it goes. I should have pulled that up. But again, we're not going to do the Bible tonight. We're not doing the Bible tonight. But underground cities, under mountains is biblical. So I can run with that one. I mean, I can go with that conspiracy theory. I firmly believe that they're building them. So.
I've seen a ton of YouTube stuff where they're showing film footage of digging out all sorts of stuff in America and in Europe. I think that seed bank has got a lot more to it than just seeds. The one in Sweden. Is it Sweden? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like on a little island in the ocean.
Yeah,
there's big massive doors that aren't locked, but you can't get in anyway, and you're not allowed there unless you're like important, and all the keeping is seeds.
There's one of those in Greenland too, isn't there?
Not the one I'm talking about. I've seen it on the news.
And they've actually got more than one seed bank out there.
And it's like every seed in the world at minus 60 or something. I don't know. There's more to it than that, I think.
When our government understands that there's the potential for a global, extinction level event,
cataclysmic event,
then why is it so weird that we believe in it?
Right, if you were like a major global power and you knew that a load of meteors were coming to the Earth, well, wouldn't you try and suck as much out you can out of the planet before the meteor blows it up anyway?
Yeah, something like that. And I wonder if we already have the ability to get off planet. I've wondered that. There's no like conspiracy theories about that, but we sure do put a lot of rockets up there. I mean, we don't need that many. Come on. Why would we need to put that many satellites up
there? There's loads going off every day, isn't there? All over the world.
Yeah.
What gets me is, sorry to interrupt, what gets me is, right, before we got the last probe to Mars, everyone's going Mars, Mars, Mars. Then as soon as the probe gets there, so photographs come back, everyone poos themselves, and now it's all moon, moon, moon.
Yeah. I mean, where do we try to get to? The moon? Are we trying to get to Mars? Or
yeah. Well, first it was Obama saying, let's get man on the moon in so many years. That probe sends a load of photographs back that are quite suspect. And now all of a sudden, there's no more talk about going to Mars, and it's all talk about going to the moon. Which, in my opinion, is what you should have done in the first place. Then you could build a space station on the moon. Then you go to the moon first, then you go to Mars. I think that's sort of quite normal.
The amount of fuel it would take to launch a rocket from the moon to Mars is nominal compared to what it would take to launch from the Earth to Mars. Because the simple fact that you are already free of Earth's gravitational pull, in theory, when you're on the moon. The moon's gravitational pull is much less than the Earth. So the amount of rocket fuel you need to exit the gravitational pull of the moon is much less. So you need less.
So yeah, you put it all on the moon. You can have a staging post from there, and then it makes life a bit easier, I think, doesn't it? But they haven't done that.
And yeah, we've had the technology to build a space station, a habitable space station in orbit. All this, and I wish Dad was in here because he could call me down on this if he wanted to. Good luck. We have had the technology to build a livable space station since the early 80s. We have had the technology. We just haven't had the finances that we know about. But each one of the sections of this space station would be a Lego piece. Okay. It would go up on a rocket. It would literally be guided into place. It would be snapped into place. The gaskets would seal. It would lock up, and then they would be, it would be carrying its own atmosphere with it. As soon as they got it hooked on and stuff, all they got to do is flick a switch, and boom, it becomes another habitable deal. They could, over the years, they could have been sending basically these storage containers. They could be sending pods up there the size of a storage container that are safe,
prefabricated units.
Yeah.
And they all lock together. Yeah.
I mean, unless you knew where to look, you'd never see it floating around up there. Now, that's a big conspiracy theory thing or whatever, but that's another one of my. I mean, why are we doing all these rockets? It's just crazy. I mean,
but yet we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, there's seriously, I mean, if the satellite can only handle X number amount of data, why are you wasting your time sending that one up there? Build a better satellite.
Yeah, build a massive satellite. Instead of flying little satellites up there, you fly men up there, astronauts, women astronauts, to actually build larger, better systems.
It's
like manned satellites, so they can be worked properly.
It's I don't know. And this is going to lead us into the next one. This is what everybody's been waiting for: the flat Earth.
Can I say one thing first?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's driving me insane whenever we talk about space. You ever watch that movie Apollo 13?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long were those guys flying around up there trying to figure that out? I forget how long it was.
It was days.
Days. Think about this. You got people with some of the best schooling, the highest degrees, engineers and everything trying to figure this out. And it took them days to do the one thing I would have done the first place. Grab the roll of duct tape and seal that thing up.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about sending stuff to space, I just think about that, is you have all the educated idiots running it.
Hey, John, put your finger there. Don't move.
Don't move. There's Larry Niven wrote a book, and he was written several, but it's The Integral Trees is the name of it. If y'all want to read it, it's a really good read. These guys, they wind up in a place that it would be really cool to live in, but probably will never exist anywhere in the universe. But they have shuttlecraft that they possess or whatever anyway, and they're super tough, and they've lasted for decade upon decade upon decade anyway. Some slaves steal one, and they hit the wrong button because they don't really know how to fly it that good, and they wind up in the outer atmosphere, and they're venting gas and stuff. And they're like, oh, okay, these are uneducated people that live in trees and eat bushes, yet they were able to figure out that, hey, look, it's getting cold in here, and the leak is right there. We can see the gases from our steam from our breath going over to that hole. So they literally open a valve that dumps mud out on the floor, and they take the mud and they stick it on the hole, and it freezes and it stops the leak. So yeah, I'll side with you on that one. It's not rockets. If you got a leak, you plug the hole.
I mean, that's the first thing you do, is you find something temporarily to seal it up so you can actually sit down and figure out how to fix it.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. But and I don't know, that we could go off on the moon and stuff too. Is the moon real? Blah blah blah. Why did they blow up the moon?
What?
But anyway,
oh, sorry.
Why did they nuke the moon? What possibly? We did.
Did they?
Obama sent a nuclear bomb up there and splattered a crater.
Probably want to see what it did.
You can't find the video anymore. I know there was a big giant. You could see the blast, and then you could see a glint of light. What was the light bouncing off of? But anyway, I watched it live, and then the video disappeared. So
Was that the thing last week?
Huh?
Was that the thing going on last week where YouTube went down and everyone said there was a video of the moon getting blown up there?
Oh, that's they tried to replay it or whatever. And they covered that video up too. You can't really find anything on something hitting the moon. A meteor strike on the moon or whatever.
Oh, I saw that. 17 seconds. Yeah.
This was back in it was whenever Obama was in office or whatever. They supposedly where they were testing something. They wanted to see if they could smack the moon right here. They could tell more about the moon itself or whatever. Yada yada yada. Apparently, what they found out is something we'll never know. I didn't research that one enough to actually do anything with it. So what do you call it? Flat Earth. Let's move to, because we've been on here. How long have we been on here? I don't even know. The Flat Earth. I know we touched on this last time. I like the Flat Earth thing, mostly because it's fun. I mean, the Flat Earth is seriously fun. Hey, Twisted.
The Flat Earth cracked me up.
I mean, I don't know. There's arguments both ways, but I don't know.
Of course I don't.
I've never got to stand on the moon and look back, so I don't know. I don't know whether it's flat or round or football shaped or nothing. I don't know.
My favorite was the guy that tried to launch himself into space last year to prove the Earth was flat.
Yeah.
He made it like 280 feet, built his own rocket.
When I was going offshore and stuff in the oil field and stuff, I used to ride on a lot of helicopters, and the horizon bent. I mean, the horizon was round, but even from 1,600 feet, it was very, very, very slight, just for lack of a better word. So I'm not a flat earther. You're never going to convince me that the size they say the planet is the size it is.
No way.
Because, quite simply, I should not be able to see things I can see from my home if the curvature of the earth is the way the curvature of the earth is supposed to be. Things disappear at X number of miles. The end. If the curvature is this much over this period of, this distance. So, yeah. And ballistically speaking, okay, ballistics. When you shoot north or south, your rifle will stay dead on. Okay? But if you shoot east or west, you will either shoot high or shoot low. Okay, depending on which direction you're shooting. I can't remember what that's called. Coriolis, something like that. Effect. Anyway, it's because the earth is, when you're shooting towards the east, you will actually be hitting high at 100 yards because the earth is rolling away from the bullet. In theory, that's what they say. And when you're shooting west, you'll be hitting low because your target's actually rolling up and towards you. But when you're shooting north and south, you won't be hitting right and left. Why would it not work the same?
I don't know. I know all kinds of weird stuff happens when you start getting out at the range, like 500 yards and spin drift and everything else.
Yeah. Now the rotation of the bullet and stuff, but they're blaming the high and low going east and west on the rotation of the planet. Then to me, if you started shooting to the north and zeroed your gun in at say 500 yards to the north, and then turned around and started shooting south, you should be an inch or two off to, what would it be? You should be hitting left every time.
I haven't tested that one out.
I did. You did a 22. I played with it. And it doesn't affect it north and south, but it does. It is definitely a thing east and west.
I'll try that next time I'm down in Arizona.
I wasted a bunch of bullets on it. It was fun, though.
Yeah, no, go
wow. It's a lot of walking, though, because you have to, like, when you're going east and west, you have to set up here and you have to zero in, and then you have to establish a pad. Don't take a big caliber gun or whatever, because you're going to walk yourself to death, because you have to shoot, and then you turn around and you go to the other target where you were shooting at, and you shoot back to where you started at, and you're like, wow, that's like not anywhere close. The patterns are consistent. Your bullet spread is the same, but when you finally get it on target going to the east, you're like, oh, I'm not doing horribly. And then you turn around and you shoot the other direction. You're literally what's rolling up. You're just stacking them up underneath the bullseye. Weird.
You'll have to try that.
But like I say, north and south doesn't work that way. You would think it would affect you right and left. And maybe I was doing something wrong. I'm not a ballistics expert or whatever. Is anybody out there in the chat a ballistics expert? Can you explain this to me? Yeah, those are called cliffs, Kentucky survival, where it's really straight up and down.
Good thing the caravans do south then.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about whatever at Coriolis, or whatever effect. It's a thing in sniping. I'm not a sniper.
Yeah, I'm not either.
It's a thing in shooting.
Oops, sorry.
There's actually some high-end optics out there that know which way you're facing, and they automatically adjust for this effect. But who's gonna throw down $15,000-$16,000 for a scope just so you don't have to go click?
That's something I've been wanting to do as a long range school. I'm not an expert at long range. I can qualify at 300 meters. That's about it. Shoot from a moving platform. But when it comes to all that crazy long range stuff, I'm kind of lost. besides a little bit of Kentucky windage up and down for range.
I can do Kentucky windage up, down, right, and left to a degree, up to about 400 yards, and that's it. Never practiced past that, and I haven't practiced a lot with that. If I had to take a launch shot on something tomorrow, I'd put my money on it getting away. So,
No, with my OT-6, I can hit anything that I can see within 300 yards. But that's about it.
yeah. When you qualify, what do you have to do to qualify at 300 meters? I mean, what kind of pattern do you have to put on the target?
We sight in at 50 meters, then we shoot at 100, 200, and then the target at 300 meters is like a big target. God, what is it, like 2 feet? I think it's like a 2-foot area you have to group inside of in the bullseye. I mean, it's a ridiculous size target at 300 meters. It really is.
So you're shooting at a big target, and all you got to do is you got to get 3 in a dinner plate or something. At 300.
You just gotta get. There's a certain number of rounds. I can't remember. It's been a while since I shot the course. Out of like 10 or 20 rounds, you have to get a certain amount within the bullseye area. It's basically every bullet you hit it with counts as a point. Every miss goes against you, to make it simple. So.
I've always in CM's comment there. That's like the best thing in the chat so far. Good one, CM. Anyway, what were you saying, Justin?
The last time I shot a rifle was 1992.
Wow.
Yeah.
A bit rusty.
Yeah, just a bit.
I don't even own a rifle. I think guns are evil, and they should be removed from the planet because they're dangerous. That's just a picture.
Yeah, that was one of the things I
You
never
need
got.
to have a bit with Ted Nugent. He sorted out Piers Morgan. Good lad. Well, he nearly sorted out Piers Morgan. He's more than what most people have done, I'll tell you that.
I know one thing: you never let Ted Nugent play with your homemade or your handmade bow. Did y'all see that when he was doing the show or whatever, and the guy was showing him the bow or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool," and he grabbed the string and pulled it, and the guy just had the string on it backwards to hold the string, and he snapped his bow. $2,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least with Ted Nugent, you could buy him another one.
Yeah, I really hope he did. Just the look on the guy's face, he was just like, "You broke it." And the look on Ted's face, what he did, he's just like, "Oh, dude, sorry." No, dude, that's not dude, sorry moment. It's like, here's my checkbook. How much was that again? You got any glue? Something.
Duct tape.
Duct tape. Got any duct tape? We can fix it. If the Earth was flat,
which it isn't,
we wouldn't need to go to the moon. We could just go up there with big suction cups and build a city on the bottom side of the plate, the globe, whatever, the little thing.
Yeah, you could suction cup up the side, then abseil down onto the moon. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you could put an elevator.
Mm-hmm. Get a theme park going. Capitalism.
And then you got all these little, if we could figure out a way to get through the dome into the water that's supposed to be up there, or whatever. I think they let the water out. Or whatever. That's what the Bible people say, is that the water's not up there anymore. And it's down here. Which, if that was true, there wouldn't have been oceans down here anyway. Because if there is a glass dome or whatever, plexiglass, whatever dome over the planet, and it had even 3 foot of water on it. And remember, it took it 40 days. Okay. And nights to get here. So if there was that many, it would be 3 foot of water on that deal. 3 foot of water on a dome that big on the planet. I don't think the water would have ever receded. I mean, where did it recede to? Did it go back up into the dome? That there, fellow believers, you're taking it a little too literal. Okay. That's like, I'm fairly certain there's not going to be a giant red dragon come up out of a pit and start chasing a woman around in outer space. Might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. Are the things that visual depicts going to happen? Yeah. Is there going to be a, for the really reals, dragon? Probably not.
Look at that. Love you.
Love you. You'll have a nice night. Oh, thank you. Oh, y'all going to go give me something for my birthday?
Yeah.
And
It's
next
called-
year. Your birthday is next year.
Yes. I will have a birthday next year.
I brought you iron.
Cool. Another piece of steel to fail on. Y'all be safe.
Thank you.
Oh, it's my birthday. Oh,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man. What now? Cool.
yeah, right now it's my birthday. I turned 41. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I know. I was that young. Good job.
Look outside your truck.
Inside or hood or back? Ah, would you please scare her off and let the tailgate down, if you don't mind?
Dude.
I forgot I closed the tailgate. How you keep the goat from climbing on the hood of your truck? You leave your tailgate down, and then she'll let. I can hear the plastic or the metal. See that? She no longer sleeps on the hood of your truck. She'll sleep in the bed of your truck.
So eating them's not the right answer.
It's the only female goat we have.
Yeah.
So she gets a pass. You shushing me? Oh, I was like, because I'll shut up like that. Oh, thanks for the whatever. I wasn't going to tell anybody because it's like, he's a dinosaur kind of thing. Yeah, I actually not, I've got a gray hair here or there, and I got some in my beard or whatever. What's killing me is this thing. Can y'all see this line right here? That's a scar from me being stupid and racing on public streets when I was younger. But my hairline to it, this used to be my forehead. I didn't have much forehead at all, just this little bit right here. And now I've got this much forehead. I got a Russian forehead. It's a Russian to the back. So far, not going Catholic yet. So I'm good with that.
That's a relief.
The brother just older than me, he went, and then with a nail pattern baldness. I try not to.
I got lucky in the baldness department. I don't think I'll go bald.
You don't think so?
No, my grandpa had his hair all the way up through his late 70s. My dad still has all his hair.
No, I'm such a genetic mutt. I don't know. Like I say, the other blonde-headed brother, one just older than me, he was the only one that was going bald. The other ones, not so much. And they're the two that, you know, the way life worked out for them or whatever, they never had children of their own. So their pool is done.
That's not a bad thing, not having kids. Some of the people that I know that don't have kids are really happy and they actually do a lot.
They raised other people's kids. They were actually stepdads to the degree. And stepdad's not, you don't automatically become the stepdad when you marry a woman. I want to bring that up right now, and then I'll get off of it. I'm not getting on this soapbox. But you are not a stepdad just because you marry a woman with kids. Okay, you do not automatically become the stepdad. If that child's father is involved in that child's life, if that father is actively trying to help raise the children, he is the dad. He is the father. He is everything. You marrying the child's mom makes you their mom's husband. You're not stepping in to anything. So, yeah, that's a sore spot with me.
Well, on the same token, you have to, if you're gonna be serious with a woman that does have kids, you have to take that responsibility, whether it's the case or not.
Yeah, and you know, it's not. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play a role in the children's lives or whatever, but personally right now there's stuff going on where they're actually still making it sound like my son's children's stepdad is actually doing more for the kids than my son is. It's not true. But yeah, they stepped in a little hard. I'll say that. Yeah. If you take on the responsibility of somebody else's, of a woman who has somebody else's children, you need to, whether you like the man or not, if the dad is being the dad to the children, you have to back him up on how he wants his children raised. Not like me and Just Eight are Baptists, okay? I don't know what religion you are. It's no big deal. But if my children, if the missus left me, if she was crazy enough to think that she could find somebody as good as me, and she left me, and there were children to be raised, and she married a Catholic, the children, because, you know, as long as I stayed involved in the children's lives, the children should be raised Baptist. And that new Catholic husband of hers had better make sure they're being raised Baptist and not Catholic, because they're not his children. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all right. I was just moving about.
If she leaves me and then I never give her a phone call, I'll disappear and go to Alaska and live in the bushes and eat beavers and porcupines and stuff, and she marries some guy and he steps in, if she wants to raise the kids Catholic, that's, I'm not there. I don't have any say in it. That's all I'm saying. I think that step parents are, they have to be integrated into the children's lives, because they're going to be a part of that children's lives. I just remember that they're somebody else's kids. Do not compete with that other person for the number one spot in that child's life. You don't want It's just not right. That's all I'm saying. I mean, let's move on to something else. I got all.
That's okay. I agree with you on that too. So you want to hear my pet theory, my tinfoil hat theory?
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Michael.
No, he said happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, Michael. All right, heard that wrong. Okay, what is your pet theory, Wayne of the West? Ooh, I like that.
So you got all these crazy ones like Alex Jones and all his stuff, and the FEMA camp theory, the flat Earth, the Antarctic one. I mean, there's all these crazy theories out there, and it seems like it's like these little group of cult following that follows all of them. What if it's all just a psyop by the CIA to throw us off to keep everyone distracted from what's really going on?
Ooh, that's really good.
Oh, it is.
Because that's what we do in other countries. That's kind of been my pet theory for a while. Is that a lot of these fringe theories are all just psyops to keep everyone guessing and give them something else to focus on.
So, wait a minute. We're being played.
Yeah, it did it in the Second World War.
So we're not actually on a planet anywhere. We're just stuck in the Matrix.
Pretty much.
That sucks.
And just so you know, I am totally mentally competent, and I will not hang myself from a doorknob in 2 months.
Are you sure I can hear the depression in your voice right now, Wayne. A phone call. That's like that postal worker, the retired postal guy that come out, Postmaster General or whatever he was, that come out and said, you can't mail a bomb and you don't deliver bomb mail to places that are under Secret Service protection. It doesn't work that way. You know, that guy, you can just hear the depression in his typing. He is so gonna wind up hanging from a door frame or eating a bullet or something. I mean, they really need to get him some counseling really fast.
It's always something stupid, like somebody gets healthy has a heart attack, or they hang themselves from a doorknob, which I think is impossible to do, or they shoot themselves in the back of the head.
We could go off on the Twin Towers thing.
Someone brought that up earlier.
I don't want to go off onto that one because
that's been done to death.
It's still done to death. And I would rather wait a few months until I'm a free man on that one.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we will say that for a later date. But yeah, it's amazing the amount of
tunnels. Someone brought up Walmart tunnels.
Walmart tunnels, you betcha, they're tied straight into them underground mountain cities and stuff.
Yeah, why are so many Walmarts strategically placed?
Why would Walmart spend millions to the billions of dollars to build all these little micro Walmarts in small towns to put the local grocers out of business, just to close the grocery stores to drive the population to the bigger towns? Why are they emptying rural America? Why?
Well, it's just not Walmart's. It's freaking electric cars and everything else that doesn't give you the range to go travel.
Something you might not know. We have a supermarket chain in England called Asda. Walmart actually own that supermarket chain. They have hundreds of shops here, but not as Walmart. And they're just food shops.
Walmart and the Clinton Foundation are like symbiotes. Okay, they didn't used to be, but they are now. Sam Wall or whatever, he was just like, oh yeah, that sounds good for business. And then it turned into something he didn't. I'm not sure he died old age. Just saying. I think his daughter was more on board with stuff than he was. because Walmart changed after he died.
Yeah, they did.
And she is rare as Rockefeller. The daughter. When was the last time you seen a picture of her?
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of her, honestly.
And you get the gold star. I mean, arguably one of the richest women in the world. One of the women with the highest net worth. And you never see a picture of her. She should be more popular than Princess Diana ever thought about. She should be ghosted with paparazzi all the time. She should not be able to go play tennis without somebody taking a picture. Where's she at?
It's like a lot of these super wealthy people. They're, they're like the 1% of the 1%, and they're super filthy rich, and you don't really know who any of them are.
Yeah.
They use a front man like George Soros.
Look at Michael Sign's comment out here. Herding the masses together so they can control them. Yes.
Definitely.
I'm not sure what the Dollar Generals are to keep people quiet, keep them from bitching. Oh, well, we lost the local grocery store. We still got the Dollar General. Oh, we still got Family Dollar.
We have $3.
$2.50, yeah. And I'm sorry, I like Dollar Tree. It's like my favorite store.
I like Tractor Supplies.
Oh, you got Tractor Supplies over there?
Absolutely not. I've been checking them out on YouTube. It's a fantastic place.
I just threw it away. If I'd have known you liked that kind of, I may not have. I'll look. If I haven't thrown it away, I will put this in the mail to you. I have a catalog.
They've got these Stanley knives, yeah? You take the Stanley blade out, and then you can put a saw blade in it. Right, now you think that's like just normal. I've not seen nothing like that in England. It's great, and you can get them from the Tractor Supply actually make them.
Oh, the hunting knife sets.
Yeah.
It's a folding knife, and it's just like a pen knife, but you can actually take the Stanley blade out, and then put it comes with a Stanley blade, and it comes with a saw blade as well. It's in the packet. I've seen it on the shelf.
Dude, they got one that it's a folding knife that you can replace the blades or whatever, and it's got a package of different blades that go with it. You can put a saw blade in it, a knife blade in it.
Yeah, that might be the one. That might be the one, yeah. Yeah, I've not seen anything like that in England. I mean, what a handy bit of kit that is.
I mean, can you have them in England?
Oh, yeah. It's just that they're like I can get speedy sharpers, but they're quite expensive. And over in America, they're like $7 a piece, which is about maybe £6.50 or something. But over here, they're like £15 a go, £12 to £15.
Well, for all of y'all listening out there, if there's something you see at Tractor Supply and you want it, you can always click on the link on my channel, and I will be glad to get it to you for a small shipping and handling fee.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. If you let me know how much the postage is, and I've got the postage, yeah, that'd be cool. Thanks.
No, I was sitting there thinking about it. Dude, they've got those on the clearance rack here. They're not selling that big. They got one, I think I seen on the rack it's actually got the folding knife that you can replace the knife blades, and then on the other side it's got the one that it's got the multi blades in it where it's a folding saw. It's a 2-pack thing. They've got one over there at the Tractor Supply now that's it's got a folding saw and a lock blade in a twofer. And I think it was like $19 or something, which I don't know what that is in pounds. Hold on, let me go. Well, y'all can't see me. I'm gonna walk over here.
I can't think.
I just the sliding one. I was there earlier before the chat started, and they had the Gerber, like the folding saws, but it slides out.
Nice.
Those are on sale right now.
You don't get that stuff on sale over here. Leathermans are so expensive.
Oh, they're expensive here. I can't imagine what you guys pay for them.
Yeah. We've got to pay for the shipping and import fee as well.
Yeah, shipping stuff overseas is like super expensive.
Mm-hmm. Well, the DHL2 dash outs was £31.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I ship internationally sometimes when I got friends on deployment, and it's usually anywhere from $30 to $50.
I think I'm going to try UPS out next time because DHL now makes you use these envelopes or boxes which have set prices. So I bought the envelope, which was 31.
Yeah, I buy those and I stuff them to the point to where they explode the set price boxes.
And you just cram it full. Little boxes. It's like £48 to the East Coast of America.
I know the one I sent Wes, there was still more stuff that I couldn't fit in there. I had to put it in another bag and send it.
Yeah, I found out all I want to know about shipping stuff.
Wasn't it 98?
$98 to ship that backpack and a t-shirt to Canada.
Wow.
To Canada?
Yep.
That's like what? £110? Wow.
Yep.
And, oh, but the rest of the giveaways will be limited.
Yeah, the rest of the giveaways will be limited to if I decide to ship something to anybody over the puddles or over the imaginary line between us and them Canadians, it'll be a gift card.
Cheaper to go there.
Something I can drop in an envelope and just mail. But okay, I'm gonna show y'all something real quick if I can. Talking about Tractor Supply or whatever. Come back to me. There we go. All right. This is the Gerber Freeman guide. It's a fixed blade knife. It started out, 24 bucks or something, and then it was $19, and then they sold it for $11.99.
That's about 10 quid.
But if you go on Amazon, these things are still 20 bucks. And Tractor Supply is dumping them right now for 12 bucks. The sheath is a piece of crap. And that's what all the reviews say. They say the knife itself is good, which this knife really does. It feels this is not mine. This is hers. The knife is super as far as fitting in your hand or whatever. It does. You could do some serious whittling with this. But why do I still have this? Oh, because I was gonna do what I'm doing now. But yeah, that's Tractor Supply. Get something, and if it does, they do not warehouse stuff. If they get it, they get big shipments, and if it's what doesn't sell and it's time to put something else on the shelf, they mark it down and they get rid of it. Tractor Supply is like my favorite place ever. But we don't worry about stuff like the sheath that comes with it being crap.
Sheath is sheath.
This one is actually.
Well, this is handmade, of course.
No, this is a little store-bought Dilly Whopper, but it fits. It's actually not for this knife, but it's the right length and the right width. The knife that came in it was wider and stupid heavy. Why would you want a bushcraft knife that has a 1/4-inch spine on it? I mean, why would you carry around a 2-pound bushcrafting knife? It's crazy.
It doesn't get better for a bushcrafting knife than the Mora.
It does not. It's literally the right side. And this is I don't know if you could tell by looking at it. They were kind of they split the difference between the Mora and what's that other, the one that has the fatter blade? Who makes that one? I can't remember. Anyway, I misplaced my favorite little bushcraft knife. It's somewhere. I know I didn't lose it, but it's it's a hollow. It's the only hollow ground knife I own, and for whittling, I mean, it's literally amazing. I haven't tried skinning anything with it yet, but I'm gonna. So, yeah, Tractor Supply is super cool, but you got to be careful with it. And Westwind, that statement I made previously to you about the machete from Tractor Supply, the one that looks like the Book of Eli machete or whatever.
Yeah, I picked one of those up after we talked.
Oh, dang. Because I actually bent the blade on it. Not the actual spine part, but I hit a knot at a bit of an angle on some really well seasoned wood. Okay, it was pretty hard stuff, but the actual edge bent. It tweaked on me.
That's okay. It was $10. I'll beat the hell out of it and throw it away.
Yeah, for $10, how you gonna? I mean, you still can't go wrong.
My favorite. Oops, sorry.
This one's not a hollow ground. This is a flat ground. No, it's a semi-hollow. Semi-hollow. It's not a flat ground. Huh. I haven't cut anything with this. I don't know. She said she wanted a knife. I got her a knife. I made her promise not to stab me with it.
I'm about to buy some flashlights over at Tractor Supply. They got all the Coastal ones on clearance right now.
They have a pack of like 6 or 8 of the little short ones for like $12.
Oh yeah, the little like these.
With the LEDs.
It wasn't that. I can't show you the name brand because it wasn't this, but it was this style flashlight. Pack of how many was in there? 6 or 8. Something like that, like 6 of them for $12. I was like, wow. And it's the upgraded from this. This one's got 3. I think it had like 6 LEDs in it. And I'm like, how can you sell out that cheap? But apparently,
I don't get it. I go there. I make my rounds once a week, usually about every Saturday morning. I check out the thrift stores, and I check out the clearance aisle on Coastal, or not Coastal, Tractor Supply.
Yeah. That's like, what are you doing? I'm going over to the clearance aisle. I'll be right back.
They always got good stuff on clearance there. And it's stuff I wouldn't buy full price knowing that they have it on clearance.
I go to Walmart. That's like the first thing I do is, what are you doing? I'm going to go look for yellow signs. Or what are the yellow balloons? I'm a yellow balloon hunter, boy. I'll be like, ooh, yellow balloon. Let's go see what they got.
I built up like 4 socket sets for $28 as a Stanley socket sets or Stanley sockets that are made by Proto. They had them all the individual sockets on clearance for like 20 cents.
Oh, wow. Dude, when the Air Force Base in Lubbock closed, they buried tons of Snap-on tools. They dug a pit and buried them.
They did that here when they switched from Prowler to Growlers. All the old tools we weren't allowed to take home. They were getting rid of them, but we couldn't take them home or else we'd get charged with theft. But they weren't taking them to Dermo to sell either. We had to put them all in a scrap metal bin.
I mean, I could see kind of the scrap metal thing, but we're just going to go ahead and throw these away now? I mean, or put them in a hole and cover them up? Okay. Why exactly are we doing that? Put them in the hole, bury them, and then pour a concrete slab over the top of them.
Well,
All just so they wouldn't get in my way.
And the crazy thing is they do the same thing with like old hangars when they tear them down. They have like super nice old furnitures and desks and chairs. We're not allowed to take them home, but they tear the hangar down with everything inside of it and destroy it.
Yeah. There's our government at work. It's not a spending problem.
Well, it's kind of like our tax dollars at work stealing ourselves.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing ever. In our county is suing the county. And the county's paying 2 separate lawyers to argue with each other.
So the people are suing the people.
Well,
Pretty much.
some of the wannabe top 1% who are probably like puppets on a string or whatever are suing because blah blah. It's just the dumbest crap. And the all this money on lawyers is going to be spent because the one side of the county or part of the county, which are a bunch of dummies, are actually suing the county, another part of the county, to make the other part of the county break the law. They're trying to force them to break the law. And the other part of the county is saying, no, we can't do that. That's against the law. The only people making out on this are the lawyers.
The lawyers always make out. It's like the casino.
It's turned into a big mess. It's actually started destroying lives now.
It's a big old circus thing, that's for sure.
I mean, it's started destroying lives, and serious. It may go from West Texas homesteading to not quite West Texas homesteading, because I don't want the people, when the people in charge of your home county are that stupid, it's time to move. Okay. Somebody brought up that 1M thing or whatever. Yeah. So they're just sitting back laughing because it's not going to affect anything. It won't hurt them at all. So, anyhow. But yeah, how stupid is it? Rob in here?
Yeah. So I may be looking for a job. Can we come stay in your camper?
Yeah. Man, see, Rob, you need to like relocate to a really pretty green, watery place and stuff, and then we can come mooch off of you. I know it was y'all's plan to come down here and live with us in the desert, but it's not looking good. We could take over that dude's place down there by the windmills. In case y'all are wondering, I cut my knuckle and there's like this little, it healed, but there's this little tag of skin that it just won't fall off, and it's annoying. Okay, what were we talking about? We cannot let this die. Oh, what are we? Because we have not gone crazy now.
Oh yeah, we're way off subject. We can talk about the pipe bombs.
Oh yeah, they built. Yeah, that's real good. Yeah, people elected. You should really have to have an IQ to run for office. I'm just saying. Okay.
Or just common sense would be good.
Yeah, common sense would be good.
Yeah, not what that about.
Now then, everybody's been wanting to hear this part. The pipe bombs being mailed to high-profile Democrats. Then I'm not going to say Democrats and CNN, because high-profile Democrats covers the whole lot. Okay. So, what do y'all think? I think it's a load of crap. That was pretty good, wasn't it? But I mean, come on, you
I'll let
can't.
I'll let Just Aid go first because mine's more of a rant on how stupid this whole thing is.
Well, the last time I had letter bombs and pipe bombs in my country was in the late 80s. And they actually invented a machine that you put the letter in and it tells you if you got a bomb in it.
They have those everywhere.
Yeah, so I don't see why why didn't the post get through there? That's because it was delivered to the door, wasn't it? That's why.
There's a little conveyor belt that all the packages go through. Every single one of them that kind of looks into it to see what's in there. You know, on every one of the post offices. So, yeah.
So don't the couriers have the same sort of thing in America?
They check everything when it gets to the post office.
Right.
It comes out of the blue box into a bin, and then it goes through a machine, and it sorts everything. Every envelope goes through a deal, and it's scanned at high speed, granted, but it's scanned, and it's got then they print a barcode on it, and blah blah blah, and it goes point A to point B to point blah blah whatever. All the packages, same thing. The reason they push the if it fits, it ships packages is, well, it's good marketing, plus it gives them a better fit in their machine to scan every package. It speeds up the scanning process because the packages going through are a specific size and shape. So, yeah, there's no way you can mail something they don't want you to mail. Just doesn't happen.
But yet it got there. Or near, so they say. Remember, you're getting a lot more information over there than we are over here, remember?
We're not getting any real information. We're getting
pictures
from CNN. That's it.
And we're getting ours from the BBC, and they're obviously getting it from a news company in America. So we're getting it even more filtered.
Got people to stop talking about the caravan for a minute.
Yeah, got people's mind off the caravan for a bit. But
And the
caravan timing is a little weird, and the logistics of the caravan is a little weird. And, I'm sorry. There's, can you imagine how much it would cost to organize and get together enough people to march?
Well, I'm thinking if they can get them all together to march, why can't they get them all together to fight the corrupt country?
There's that. And then, but I mean, how much it would take to get people to walk from Abilene to Dallas. I mean, the logistics involved in something just that little bit short John. And that's in America. It would be crazy. But anyway, go ahead, Wayne. What is your take on the Boompas?
I'll just get it out in a rant because this whole thing is ridiculous. It's going to be something else next week, something else the following week, all the way up until after the recounts. And then it'll be rioting. So this whole pipe bomb thing comes right on the curtails of the failure of the Kavanaugh, the failure of the fake Indian, the failure of Hillary coming out and trying to tell people to get violent. Now we have the caravan and then the pipe bombs, and they're telling people we need peace. So this is just another issue to try to generate sympathy and get votes. You got these packages are way too clean to be sent in the mail. Every time I get something from the mail, it's dirty and beat up. There's no timed postage stamps. Every time I send something or get something to me, there's a stamp on it. Every post office that goes through, they stamp whatever city it's in and the date that it went through.
Yeah, in the UK, we call it a frank.
Yeah.
There's none of that. The the bombs themselves, I'm not an expert, but I have had some basic training because of my job. It didn't look like there was a power source for a timer. And why would you send a timer in the mail? Um, the wires weren't right. There was no blasting cap. The bomb looked like something out of a bad action movie. It was just the whole thing's hokey. And then all of a sudden we have the suspect that happens to be a massive Trump supporter with fresh stickers all over his van of Trump and then like targets over the people he targeted with the bombs. And then all of a sudden his Facebook page pops up with all his rhetoric. But somebody did take a screenshot of his LinkedIn profile before they took it down. And it said that he was a postal worker and that he's part of the Democratic Party.
Wow.
I mean, the whole thing is just a total fake setup. Wag the dog.
Yeah, there's nothing about this whole bomb thing that makes any sense. But if you watch CNN, and yes, you have to know your enemy. I watched CNN. I watched MSN, MSNBC, and read some of the stuff on Drudge and stuff about it.
Excuse me.
Every one of them are making it sound, they're being all, with the tone of voice when they speak and everything. They're like, oh, it's a horrible thing, but we know this is the facts and this is the way it really was. Believe us because we're perfectly innocent. This man's horrible. We can't believe he's done this. I mean, and they're just like playing into the subconscious of people, all the little brain dead zombie thumb clunkers out there that are buying into it. They're not even going to question our mainstream media's narrative of this. They're not going to question it. They're going to run with it.
That's what I don't get is the people that even like this day and age with how desperate and obvious that it's gotten, how do these people get brainwashed so bad that they don't question anything?
Well, they don't want to question it because what they're we now know that there's such a thing as a BMW Mini, right? We're very interested in a BMW Mini now when we're going to do some Google research and see if they deliver to Texas or wherever. And if, let's say, they said, hey, man, all you got to do is change the way you vote and this, that, and everything else, and we can get you the Mini, I'm going to have to think about it, okay? Now, when I get focused on what I want, if I focus on that BMW Mini, that's all I can see is what I want. And then people start throwing breadcrumbs out there that say, oh, go this way and you'll get closer to the Mini. Go this way, you'll get closer to the Mini. Then I'm going to follow the flipping breadcrumbs because all I'm focused on is that BMW Mini. And that's what they're doing. People, the millennials and under, in America have been raised to believe that you shouldn't have to work for a living. I'm sorry, that's the way it's being done. Okay? Other people don't have to work for a living. Why should I have to work for a living? That's being brainwashed into white American youth. You do your 12 years of high school, which is designed to make you a viable, employable person. You should be able to run your own company after you exit high school. That's all you should need. Okay. The American educational system pre-80s was all you needed to be successful in the world. And I'm talking all the way to the top. There are billionaires out there that dropped out in 6th grade. Okay. Because they could read, they could write, and they could do math. And that's all they needed. Okay. The rest of it was self-taught. You do not need college. But they have been taught that you go to school, you go to college, you go to a graduate school, and then you take the first job available and you just go through your life like that. And you keep waiting for the government to pick up the slack. That's what they've been taught. And that's what they're doing. There's a huge portion of our national debt that is student loans that will not be repaid, or they're not going to get paid. Okay? They're not going to get paid back. So college, I'm not saying college is bad, but the only reason you need college is if you've decided to become a lawyer, a doctor, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to call you doctor anybody because you got a PhD. Okay? That's not a real doctor. If you cannot write me a script because I need some penicillin, you're not a doctor. Just saying. Dentists are doctors because they can write scripts. Okay. Fact. They can. But you don't have to be, you do not have to go to college to be successful. Simple as that. Most of the people around my part of the world that are working blue collar jobs are making upwards of 45 a year, entry level. No college. One of them, I know this one kid, I want to slap him for it. He was waiting for his birthday because you have to be so old to go in the oil field. Okay. He had 3 months left to graduate. As soon as he hit 18, he went to work. He is now 20. Can't really smack him in the back of the head because he's now, I think he's 26, 27. He's 27 years old. He's making $68,000 a year and owns his own home. Owns outright his own home. He's got no student debt. He doesn't work for a living anymore. Now he's a supervisor. You don't need college to be a success. I mean, I know a lot of people out there with college degrees that are making under 30 because they can't find a job in what they went to college for. There's only so many investment banker jobs out there. There's only so many administrative assistant jobs out there. There's only so many whatevers. The nursing, everybody's saying, well, go into healthcare. I'm sorry. Healthcare is not actually a college degree thing. I know you can get an associates in this, da, 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 da. Those are nursing school is a trade school. Nursing is a trade. The the vampire people that take your blood, that's a trade. X-ray, it's a trade. The medical field is a trade. It's trades. Trades is where you make your money. There can only be so many people in upper management and stuff like that. There can only be so many people in the cubicles. They're actually forcing people into cubicles like lemmings for the same reason they're closing the small grocery stores and stuff, which make it possible for people to live in rural America. Because they want people to quit being American and go and live and be little city dwelling lemming type people. I thought you were the one going on the rant, West Wind. How'd that go bad?
Well, I mean, that goes into a few other tinfoil hat theories too. Is just forcing people into the cities to control them.
I mean, it's all about control. And if why is a free and independent nation? Why are citizens of a free and independent nation? Why do we need to be controlled? Now, I'm not a raging libertarian, but I'm not the best Republican in the world either.
I'm not either. I just want to be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that there needs to be laws, but the way the United States is set up, as a people, we elect people to write. We're supposed to have a base set of laws that are based on our Constitution, which prevent us from taking advantage of each other. That's it. Our liberties are our own responsibility. The only way we should be allowed, or we should lose a liberty, if you will, is if we take advantage of that liberty and use it to do harm to, or to degrade, if you will, someone else deliberately. I mean, there's accidents happen. Let's take slavery, for instance. The Emancipation Proclamation and the war, because the people were abusing their liberties and taking advantage of the liberties of other people to make slaves of them, that was wrong. The Democratic Party, which was pushing slavery, never should have been in power because they were not honoring the liberties of other human beings. Okay? They all should have gone to jail. You know, there shouldn't have been no whatever. They should have gone to jail immediately after the war was over. They should have rounded them all up and they should have spent their life in prison because they infringed upon the liberties of other human beings. That's the way that should have gone. But we, as a people, are responsible for ourselves with our liberties, our freedoms, our rights, come responsibilities. I, because of the Constitution, have the right to keep and bear arms. If I use that right to keep and bear arms to go out and rob a liquor store, I no longer have the right to keep and bear arms because I abused that liberty. Okay. That makes sense. I have not abused the liberty of the Second Amendment or the right afforded me by God through the Second Amendment by going out and having some guy walk up and spit in my face and me smashed him with my fist and putting him in the hospital. But the way the new laws pushed through by the socialist left are written, if you get in a fist fight and put somebody in the hospital, you're no longer allowed to own a firearm in most of the United States. How is that right? I didn't abuse my liberty. I didn't shoot him. I mean, that's I don't believe everybody should get away with whatever. I know that's not conspiracy theory. Got called down by the missus. What are we talking about? Oh, but it does tie into a conspiracy theory. Sorry. It does tie into a conspiracy theory because we're talking about the fact that they're doing everything to control. They are trying to control us as a populace.
Yeah, any excuse to take your constitutional right away from you in a legal way. Even if it's got to be done by the individual, and not all of you at one go, I suppose.
Later, Rob.
Good night, Rob.
Night, Rob.
I cut you off like 3 times, Wayne. What were you trying to say?
Well, saying that goes into other things too. I mean, that goes into the whole continuity of government with the, I mean, you could go continuity government with financial collapse or even the EMP scare that we've been having. And also with the UN stuff, with the national IDs that are tying into the UN's world ID. With them trying to control the populace as much as possible, they're trying to force everyone to have. They first started with the enhanced ID on the borders. Now by 2019 or 20, they want everyone to have the state enhanced ID or you can't fly, which is like Gestapo shit. Oh, you can't fly if you don't have papers, if you don't have the government tracking chip in your ID. That's I don't even know how you could even say that that's not unconstitutional. And then
See, now,
the UN wants to have a worldwide citizen ID by like 2030. I think all this is tying into that. So,
wow. See, I didn't know all that. I knew some of it. I knew about, the standardized ID or whatever, but I do not want an ID with the tracking chip on it. I don't mind the little magnetic strip so bad on the back where, Mr. Popo needs to run my, swipe my driver's license. Okay. But why do I need a chip? Why?
this has been in the works for a while. They were testing this in like '93.
Where you gonna have to have that.
Yeah, my passport's got a chip on it.
See, there we go with getting back to biblical thing and the whole mark of the beast and yada 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 yada.
But there's just so much going on, and I think that's why there's so many fake conspiracy theories to keep it distracted from like big legitimate ones where they're actually passing policy and stuff.
And that's the whole thing. I think. I mean, that's the head of the nail right there. I don't know that they're making the conspiracy theories and putting them out there for everybody to chase around like rabbits, or if they're just letting the people do it. I mean, come on. We will look for things to distract ourselves. I mean, one of the biggest jokes on here is we all chase squirrels. I mean, I know I do.
Yeah.
If you can see the truth, you can't handle the truth. I mean, none of us really, we say we want to know what's going on, but do we really? I mean, do we really want to know what's going on? If we found out, if we knew the whole truth, would we be able to wrap our heads around it? Would we be able to hold on to the sanity of our little fake world we've made? Or would we lose it? Would we wind up shooting ourselves in the back of the head, hanging from a doorpost somewhere?
I've thought that many times.
I'd be impressed if you could actually hang yourself from a doorknob. Just saying.
It can be done.
And I actually spent about 3 hours trying to figure out how to do that, and I couldn't figure it out.
One of my son's friends, his girlfriend dumped him and he thought it was over. At the ripe old age of 15, thought his world was over. So he wrapped some wires from the wiring harness out from under his Chevrolet and sat down by the tire. And slowly, the first thing that, if you do it right, the first thing that happens is you pass out and then you slump over and it gets tighter. And by then it's over. I mean, you have to want to die.
I don't see it. I can't. My neck is level at the doorknob, and at some point your instinct kicks in before you pass out and you stand up.
Yeah, I would think so. But
we tested this theory. I'm not going to go into details, but there's a few of us at work trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and
you pass out, you're out.
You're out, yeah.
But you would have to take some kind of altering pill or drink or something.
And I don't know if that kid did or not, but
chances are he overdid it on alcohol. Or
yeah, he was. I think he was pretty drunk.
Yeah, that can happen if you're pretty wasted.
But
that's crazy. That's just, man, I never even heard anybody ripping their wiring harness out.
Tell Westwind to read Grouchy's.
Westwind, read Grouchy's comment.
Hang on.
Yeah, Survival Comms is over a lot of our heads. He's like serious radio, dude.
Yeah, I'd like to do some more comms videos in the future. I don't know if it's going to happen right away because I just don't have money to buy a lot of that stuff right now. Though I was going to buy a pack of the Midland brand ones. They're like $50 for 2 of them. And I was talking to my dad. He's a ham radio operator. He has all kinds of stuff. He remodeled a nightclub, and they had like, see, I got 4. He's got 4. They had a bunch of radios. There's like 10 or 12 of these radios, and he gave me all the Motorola ones, and he kept the Midland ones. So I got them for free.
So that's our number. Well, not next, but it's one of the things we're definitely checking into is comms for our homestead.
I mean, I have been studying for my ham license, and I would like to get a base unit for FRS, GMRS, and then also get into 2-meter with the ham stuff. So as I progress into that, I'll make more specific videos that are easy to digest.
Yeah, I keep getting tempted to do the ham.
But you gotta have a mentor first.
Oh yeah, on the ham license and stuff.
But I was reading up on some of it.
First thing I'd do, I'd get on there, I'd break some kind of rule, and the Gestapo would show up and say, "There's a radio." I mean, man, I just bought that. I mean, I left mine in Arizona.
I mean, I think I need to shift focus. I spent the last year basically building a survival library and building small medical kits. Now I kind of need to focus on water storage that makes sense and a large medical kit for the home and ways to keep the house warm during the winter because I don't really have winter heating options where I'm at right now.
Yeah, you can't exactly cut down a tree and start a fire, can you?
Well, I was gonna get a couple of those Mr. Heaters, one for each place. And I need to buy another camp stove. I have those old Coleman dual fuel camp stoves. So if we have a winter storm or an earthquake or something, I use those, and it's also part of my bug out gear because you can run 4 different types of fuel through them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a Coleman's for my emergency gear.
Oh, you talking about in CA, huh? Not Arizona.
Well, yeah, I got half my stuff. Actually, a good majority of my stuff's in California now. And then when I get down there, I'm going to split it up between the 2 properties. So each place can operate independent. If we have to leave California and go to the place in Arizona, I don't have to take everything. We already have stuff at the place in Arizona.
So that makes sense. I'm gonna take a road trip to Arizona one of these times. I'm gonna get like all dressed up with like a big cowboy hat, and vest, and chaps, and like rhinestones and spurs and stuff. I'm just gonna ride around and yell, "Hey, Wayne, where you at?" Top fine.
I'd like to take a road trip out there. I mean, I'm gonna try to zigzag my way down when I go south and hit up as many of the Viking meetings as I can.
Man, that's gonna be a whole lot. That's gonna be a lot of zigzagging. How long did it take us to get to Arizona that one time? Like forever.
I think it's an 18-hour drive to where you guys are at because I was considering coming out there and meeting you guys for lunch if you'd have it. I looked it up one day when I shipped that package out to you.
Yeah, I think that's. Want to say you're really right, and that's I think it took us like 18, 19 hours to get to where we were going in Arizona.
Hey, that much further than we drove to Tennessee.
Yeah, but it's like we have to drive through New Mexico. New Mexico is dangerous. You can die in New Mexico.
You can die anywhere.
You ain't never driven on the Hopi reservation.
No, that's what I'm talking about. To get across Arizona or New Mexico, you got to go through all these Indian reservations, and them people don't like white folks.
No, you gotta walk the walk and speak the language.
Well, you definitely don't want to have a bumper sticker that says Cherokee Nation on it. They don't like them either.
Yeah.
Especially not if you're white. I bought the car like that. Calm down.
Oh, what's funny is the Navajo Nation's doing their presidential elections. Like none of the candidates are actually Navajo that are running. One of the guys Vietnamese. Like,
we stopped at a convenience store over there to get coffee and the kids something to drink and stuff like that. And I mean, it's a parking space. We pull in and we park. And I literally thought I was going to get shot by these two Indian women. And I'm not talking dot on the forehead either, because we were parked in their spot. And I've never been cussed so foully in front of my wife and children by anybody for parking somewhere or for anything, really. And was it not for the presence of my loving wife and the witnesses around the situation, there would have been two religious, I'm talking holy Indian women in that parking lot. I was like, it didn't say reserved for ugly buck-tooth squaw when I parked there. Come on. Jeez, I'm still mad about that. I was just like, sorry, we're fixing to leave.
well, one of the things about the reservation that you got to be careful with, and people have always made the mistake, is each one is very different from another. So a lot of them are really good accepting people, but they also have a lot of meth and alcohol problems. So they have towards the places where there's towns and gas stations, a lot of those people congregate in those areas where you would stop and get gas. So you're really seeing the worst of the worst when you go out there.
There in Oklahoma, and those people were out in the parking lot dicking. So drugs are all kinds of convenience stores.
Yeah, that's a part of it at the convenience store. And I know they weren't representative of the nations, if you will, but I literally haven't taken my family through New Mexico since.
Oh, that's not true either, Eric. The casino money, the tribal elders, the guys in the tribal government, they take money from the government and the casinos and everyone else, and it's supposed to get spread amongst the tribe, but they just hoard it and keep it for themselves and fuck everyone in the tribe. They do the same thing to their own people that our politicians do to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it true they have their own presidents and that's their own little government sort of thing?
Yes.
I've heard that. Oh, right, that's true, right.
Well, it's more like a state, so they can self-govern just like a state, but they still have to follow federal law.
About the only thing is like the gambling and stuff.
There's one elected guy but there is the one elected Indian that's in charge of the whole lot.
Well, not the whole lot, but like the tribes or whatever. Each, I guess, you might know more about it than me, but the way I understand it is each tribe has its own leaders, and I don't think they have like a CEO. They have a group of chiefs, I guess, or whatever, if you will. They don't call them chiefs anymore, but they don't have a president. They have a council.
Right.
It depends on the tribe too. Each tribe is different.
Yeah, each tribe is different, and they always have been. Was the Apache and the Comanche weren't exactly friends?
Well, the Apache don't. They're kind of like the Comanche. They were a warring tribe. They were actually part of the Navajo, and they back in the Third Age, back a long time ago, and they broke off and left the Navajo because the Navajo were farmers and they wanted to make war with everyone.
Yeah, they wanted to. They wanted to be marauders, basically, hunters, gatherers of like other people's stuff. No disrespect meant. I mean, that's a hard life. I mean, you gotta have a set on you to live like that.
Yeah, it's you don't live very long in that life either.
No. And I think they'd rotated out of it some. They were basically went to, they were just controlling their territory. I don't think they were roving across the North American landscape, just pillaging or whatever.
Well, so it's crazy how different they are. I mean, some tribes were farmers, other tribes were traders and would grow corn and trade stuff with other tribes. And then other tribes, they were warriors, and they were just basically assholes. They would go attack the other tribes and steal their stuff.
What was that? The Sioux even had trouble with that. I mean, they had little small tribes that peeled off and stuff. They were basically, we don't want to do this anymore. We want to do it this way, and then they would just go off and do their own thing. I mean, it's the same with anybody. I mean, like our little community here, we've got, we're all wanting to do this way, but then somebody peels off because they want to do it a different way. I mean, it's just that's part of being a lot. How do you think they wound up with so many First Baptist churches?
Yeah, well, the whole religion thing, I don't get. I'm not Christian, but I was raised Christian, and I still read. There's some books out of the Bible that I enjoy reading because I like them, and I don't understand the denominational thing. To me, if you read the Bible, it's supposed to be about you and your relationship with God. You don't need a church to counsel with other people, and that's why I don't understand the denomination. You have all these. I don't know how many. What's there like hundreds of them, and they all say think their way is the right way and nobody else's way is the right way.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I differ with the Baptist church is that they're, I don't know, there's only one way or the highway, and it's definitely not the Baptist church. There's only one way or the highway, or one way to the highway, and that's not the Methodist church. It's not the Catholic church. I mean, I can list them all. It's not Lutheran. It's not throw Gestate in there. It's not y'all's Church of England. Apparently, that's not real popular anymore. Anyways, it's not Islam. It's not. I don't think that any of the denominations out there have it right. I honestly don't. I don't think that very many of the denominations out there actually even follow their own their church charter. The last church I was pastor of, I asked them, I said, okay, well, where is our charter? Can y'all get that? Can y'all go get that form? They could not pull out they couldn't pull it out of a filing cabinet. They couldn't show me the beliefs that their church were founded on. They could not show me the paper that said these are the rules. This is the way we will conduct ourselves as an assembly. Hey, Chabot and Tibor, but I mean it's weird. That there's so many denominations out there. Even in the Hebrew Israelite thing, that the new wave of whatever, which I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I'm definitely old school. I'm Old Testament. I'm an Old Testament believer. But they're not all on the same page.
Well, I like that movement. The guys that follow the I forget the name of it now. There's a guy I work. He was the way he eats and the way he acts is a lot like Pastor Joe Fox and the way that he follows his religion. And I asked him if he's Torah observant, and he said yes. He was surprised I knew about that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that people are getting away from the whole Zionist thing and the stuff like that, because that's not before the transfer agreement. That's not how that religion was practiced.
Yeah. The modern day Christianity really, it's been muddied up too much by too many pastors that are sure they figured out what God was trying to say. Well, didn't he have somebody write it down? Oh, sorry, that was rude. But, I mean, seriously, I mean, isn't that what the Bible's supposed to be? God said, hey, Moses, I need you to write this down. And Moses was like, okay, God, I'm going to write this down. I think that's what happened.
And, really, I don't think we're supposed to know, or we're supposed to have it figured out.
Well, if we get a step by, well, we were given a step by step, and these are the rules.
But
We didn't follow those.
it leaves it some of the mystery to it.
Yes.
Everybody wants to figure out the universe, know their God, know the meaning of life, all that stuff. But I don't think that we're supposed to know.
We're not. We're supposed to. There's supposed to be a mystery to it. We're supposed to. Why would we need faith if you could prove it? If you could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, let's say it was etched in stone, that something was true. If you could walk up and you could put your hand on the stone, and then this, whatever you call it, heavenly projection screen across the entire sky would show up, and you would be able to see the beginning of everything play out, and you would know everything from the beginning to the end was the truth. If that's all it took for you to know, know that it was real, why would you need faith? There would no longer be a matter of free will of whether or not you're going to decide, yes, this is the truth, I'm going to follow it, or whether, that's a load of crap, I'm not going to follow it. There would no longer be a choice. And in my faith teaches that mankind made a choice millennia ago to turn their back on what God had told them was good for them. And in doing so, rather than just wipe us off the face of the planet and start over, God said, well, we'll just do it this way. I will give them a choice as to whether or not they come back and listen to what I told them the first time. And the rules for us having a personal relationship with the Lord God today is no different than the rules were for Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. They're no different. The rules never changed. Live your life, don't hurt anybody, and don't mess with stuff I tell you to leave alone. Those were the only rules that Adam and Eve had. And they blew it. They messed with something God told them to leave alone. So, and that is the sermon for this evening. If you do not know Jesus Christ in a personal way, I would like you to lean down and touch your computer or your phones or your iPads or whatever you're listening on.
And somebody made a good point in the comments in the chat too. There's this constant battle in the world of good and evil.
Yep.
And I believe that there's definitely evil societies disguising themselves to be good. And there's a constant battle, and it seems like we've been losing the battle for a number of years, that there's less good than evil.
And that's the more acceptable a form of religion becomes worldwide. If being a Christian, being a Christian became the popular way to be, the right way to be, when the world accepted Christianity as what is right, is when, and you people come to the Bible study before y'all judge me on what I'm about to say. I am a firm believer in Jesus Christ and in Yahweh and the Holy Spirit. I believe in God. Okay. I believe in salvation. But when Christianity became the religion to be, and it was no longer shunned by the world, it is because it was no longer a threat to the prince of the world. They had gotten so far, Christianity had moved so far away from the truth of worshiping the Most High God that, quite frankly, the Antichrist was okay with it, because they weren't anywhere close to doing it right anymore. I mean, come on. Every church out there celebrates one of the most pagan holidays in the world religiously in December. They do not celebrate it in any biblical form at all. Yet,
It's the holiday of my people.
yeah, everything is celebrated as if the pagan was having the holiday. So, yeah, it's coming up. They've already got the lights and stuff at the Wally World and the Dollar General and the Family Dollar and everywhere else. They got them at the Tractor Supply.
And that's where we differ, because I'm more spiritual, and I've dug into a lot of stuff everywhere I've traveled and everywhere I've been. And recently, in the last few years, I've been doing a lot of research on where my family came from. And I know pretty much all of my ancestors came from Norway, Iceland, and Germany, all Germanic tribes. And a lot of those Christian holidays have basically taken over old pagan holidays, because when the Romans were in charge of the church, the Germanic tribes are the ones they couldn't beat. So they initially tried to install that, where they use Christian holidays to take over pagan holidays. And then the Catholic Church did it also through medieval times.
And then it was okay to quit being Germanic, if you will, and become Christian. I mean, yeah, they did it. If the rules weren't changed because God told them to, the rules were changed because it was good for what the people in power wanted at the time. Yeah.
And I know this might upset some people, but I don't worship the old gods or anything like that, because I'm more spiritual. But I actually do enjoy the pagan holidays for the fact that it was more about the seasons of the earth. The fall, the spring, the renewal, all that stuff was about the natural seasons and movements of the earth.
And Ben, that's, again, Westwood, what you're saying right now, it's about to make me call you or nothing. I don't know if I've made this clear or not, but each individual's walk with God is their own. You know, I can't, you know, I'm not going to tell you to go to hell for it, because I can point a lot more fingers back at me and say, you're going to hell for that, boy. And I'm probably closer to being right on me than on you. Some of the best followers of God I know started out spiritually. And I'm not saying God's fixing to turn you into a televangelist or nothing like that. I'm just saying there's no, you know, I can't judge you for your walk. I can't. You know, I did the whole special rock, me rub this thing. That was rude. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've looked, okay. I've hunted through everything. No, man, I guess I'm a jack of all trades when it comes to religion. I know a little bit about all of them, and that's not from listening to people bash them. It's from going out there. Okay, I'm gonna check out what this Hindu stuff's all about. There's too many gods to keep up with. I was out of that.
You know, and I don't bash on. There's two religions that I do not like, and I've mentioned that in the past. I don't like Satanists and the other one, because I mean, Satanists, no matter what you believe in, they literally worship evil, so that ain't right. A lot of my friends are Christian. One of my really, really good friends is actually trying to start his own church, and we talk all the time. I don't really judge people for what they believe in either, because all religions for the most part practice the same basics. I mean, don't rob your neighbor, don't cheat on your wife, don't murder someone. A lot of the basics in every religion about being a good person are the same.
Isn't that odd? You know, it's like all of them got their basis from the same thing. You know, I don't know. You know, from the same
being good.
Because good is good and evil is evil. I mean, the first thing in the deal is, I mean, what is y'all keep tricking me into this. What is the fruit that Adam and Eve ate in the Bible? What is the fruit that they ate?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's something that I wouldn't guess.
Do you know, Just Aid?
It would have to be something like it.
Not like it. I don't mean like the actual fruit. God, now, I'm not asking if it was an apple, an orange, a peach, an apricot, a kiwi fruit. That's not what I'm asking. But good one, good answer. I don't think he was bitter at all. I'm pretty sure they went back for seconds. It was the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It was not an apple, baby. I'm sorry. It was the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah, Frank got it.
Hey, good answer, Frank. But yeah, that's it. Before they dove into and went and ate the tree that God said, don't mess with this. They did not know the difference between good and evil. They didn't know that hoarding all the resources into a castle was bad and letting the people outside the walls starve to death. They didn't know that. I mean, it was just something that it didn't never occur. It would never occur to them to take all the apples and put them in a castle and not share the apples with everybody else. You know, they couldn't do that. They could have cared less about gold before they ate that tree. They didn't, they weren't walking around collecting shiny rocks. They didn't care. If they couldn't eat it, They didn't need it. Um, the word boobs was invented after they ate the fruit. Simple as that. I mean, evil had no face in the life of mankind before mankind knew what evil was. They couldn't do something for the joy of doing something evil because they didn't know what evil was. They were base animals. They ate because they were hungry. They drank because they were thirsty. They snuggled when it was cold to stay warm. That was it. They didn't know anything else until they ate the deal. And what that led to, all of the religions in the world all have the same basic thing. You're not mean to God. You don't deny that religion is important. You do not kill each other. You do not steal from each other. You don't rape. You don't pillage. Okay, maybe the Vikings got that a little wrong. But you don't, and they weren't actually, that wasn't their religion. They didn't run out and say, okay, we're going to go take all that stuff away. They were like, okay, we have a limited amount of resources. We're going to go get some stuff.
Yeah, that was very tribal, and that happened. That was stuff that happened all over the planet. The raiding was during the summer. Some villages would sail across to each other and raid each other, but that was kind of the standard stuff that went on in the world at the time. And the thing about the Vikings and about the Germans and the Scandinavians is that it was all Roman Christian and Catholic Christians who wrote about them. So a lot of the information has been lost over time, and a lot of they estimate between 70 and 90% of the way that they practice life and their beliefs has been destroyed because they used to destroy everything and build a church on top.
Yeah, well, same thing with almost every. And the last thing the Antichrist can tolerate, honestly, is for it to come to light that all the various tribes all throughout the globe, albeit possibly flattish and way bigger than we are taught, are all of their basis for their religions come from the same place. The gods, if you will, that the Vikings worshipped, and the gods that the American Indians worshipped, and the gods that the South American people worshipped, because the gods they have now aren't gods that they had before the Spaniards went down there and killed them all with disease and stuff. Okay? They're not the same ones. Diseases went across the South American continent, the Central America and North Americas, and wiped out, what was it, 80% of the populations? You know, there was a lot of stuff lost. But they all had it's weird that all the religions have so many similarities. And Paul touches on that when he's talking to him, and when he's waiting to go to jail or to go see Caesar or whatever. There's only one God. That's my stance. That's just everything points to that. My giant circle around all the religions, and I didn't get into all of them. Definitely not yoga, W.R. Moore.
I already taught him yoga.
Yeah, yoga created yoga pants, therefore it is evil.
And just to clarify, I wasn't insulting Christians, but I was kind of getting at the where their beliefs, they have the 9 virtues, and one of the most important ones is courage and fearlessness. So to be courageous. So if a fight is brought upon you, or you do go to battle, to not be a coward. That was one of the worst possible things you could be remembered for in that society.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, we spend so much, even denomination to denomination. I mean, how much effort does the Protestant church throw at bashing the Catholic Church, and how much effort does the Catholic Church put towards bashing all the Protestant churches? And I mean, the man, I wish Robert had stayed in here. I'm not busting on you. I love you, and I don't care. Reasons. I'm saying this because of reasons. The Church of Christ and the Baptist Church, they always besting on each other. It's, you, for one, get over yourself. You're worshiping you're trying to find the truth to the same place. It's, everybody spends so much time bashing each other for their beliefs and stuff instead of actually just living their own. If you say that your walk with Christ or your walk with God makes it okay for you not to go to assembly, and that you worship God in your own way and at your home and this, that, and everything else, really freaking do it. Do not just say, well, I don't have to go to church, because you don't have to go to church to be a good Christian. I can worship God at home. You better be worshiping God at home, because you know better. You've already said you know better. If you're not living it, what you're living is a lie. It's that simple. It doesn't matter what. If you're a pagan and you don't really believe in the pagan gods, you're living a lie. If you're a Hindu or you're living the Hindu religion and you don't believe in the 47 million gods they have, or however many it is,
they got a lot.
Yeah, you're living a lie. If you're not a Buddhist and you're not buying the Buddhist thing, you're living a lie. If you don't have yoga pants and you're doing yoga, you're living a lie. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is you call your religion. If you don't, all the way down deep inside you, if you don't know that you know that you know that it's true, and live it, because living it is life itself, then you're living a lie. It's that simple. And yeah, I should have had the camera on, because I was like all like being real emotional and using my hands, and I still am. And I'm so glad I have the camera turned off. I look like some kind of break dancer over here.
You know, I have a hard time even describing. This is why I don't talk about my beliefs, because the same feeling that people get when they go to church and they feel the Holy Spirit, that's what I get when I'm on top of a mountain, or when I'm starting a fire in a while and I'm just sitting there for hours watching the fire for no reason.
Did I just lose y'all? Did I lose the stream? They just signed me out on the chat.
That's part of the reason I go out and I push myself when I'm outdoors, because I get that feeling when I'm pushing myself.
Yeah. Anyway, how long have you been in here, honey? What? Holy crap, guys! You've been here for 3 hours.
Wow.
Anyway, all of you people in the side chat, we are really glad that you came over here and hung out with us forever and a day.
Wow, I can't believe we've been here that long.
Yeah, it goes fast.
Yeah, 3 hours ago.
In case y'all missed it, and you weren't here for the first part, we have established that the earth exists
Mm-hmm.
and that they are lying to us, and that you definitely cannot mail explosives to the United States Postal Service. So we strongly suggest that you go back and watch from the beginning and follow the chat, because there was lots of really good stuff over there that I missed. If I missed saying hello to you, or if any of us missed saying hello to you, we apologize. I'm glad.
Yeah, I actually can't see the chat, so I actually can't see the chat on any device whatsoever. So hello to everyone, and I'm not being rude.
Yeah, it's signed. I went to type something in just now, and it signed me out of the chat. I can't. I've been on too long, so it signed me out of YouTube. Apparently, YouTube has a problem with 3-hour live streams. Now, Hangouts allows me to go for 8, in case y'all are wondering how long we could go. So.
Yeah, Tibor made a good point with the caves. There's some really, really amazing caves out there too.
Yep. And we will never find out all the things that they found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, in those little caves there. The scrolls? And see, gotcha, dude, that's the thing. The Church of Christ actually counts themselves as the only non-denomination. They don't count themselves as denominational, because they count themselves as the only church. And Baptists don't consider themselves a denomination. They count themselves as the only church. And you just go on and on and on. And that's why you can't get the Baptist minister, the Church of Christ minister, the Lutheran minister, on and on. You can't get none of the people, all the church leaders in town. You can't get them to go into one building and sit down and have some coffee and some donuts and see what they could do to make the whole town better, because they're all too busy trying to prove that theirs is the only one.
Give them all some boxing gloves and lock them in a room. Work some stuff out.
Yeah. What'd you say about my crackers and wine? But anyway. And I'm not belittling, I'm tired and I should shut up now. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's faith. I'm really not. But I'm actually I was baptized into I gave my life to Christ in a Baptist mission. I was baptized a few years later in the Christian church, the Disciples of Christ. I was ordained as a deacon in a Baptist church. I was ordained as a minister in a Baptist church. I was ordained again by another church to minister into that Baptist church. And then I was later licensed by another, or that same Baptist church again. But I didn't start out that. I started out a disciple of Christ, a First Christian Church.
Not yet, Jay Snip.
Okay. The wife said, say good night, y'all. Anyway, good night, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Love y'all. God bless. Gentlemen, would y'all like to tell them goodbye?
Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming out, listening to us ramble. I know we went way off subject, and thank you for the CIA and NSA agents who are listening in on us. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for turning up, guys. See you on the next live stream, I suppose.
Yep, we'll catch y'all next time. See y'all later, Alphabet Soup peoples.